Whoa. How serious are you?
I don't.
Where am I? I don't see myself.
I don't see.
I can't hear you. Hold on. Hold on.
There. Well, there's a.
Let me get my headset on.
All right.
Damn, man. FTB. I need some lighting. Shit, I forgot about that.
Well, I don't see you still. I see your avatar.
How come? Yeah, I don't know. Why am I not popping up? What am I supposed to do?
Hit the camera icon. If you see a camera and a microphone. There you go.
There I am. Good thing you did it. Good thing you did a test.
Of course. Good. Turn your phone sideways.
Oh shit! Here we go again. Oh, here we go again with the old.
There you go. Now Are you gonna let me broadcast? It's a mess in this house. Please be quiet when I broadcast, please. All right. Awesome. Okay, I think we're connected.
Right. Yes.
Emotionally.
Yes. All right. This headphone sucks. All right. Okay. So my place is a fucking mess. This is my H.A. Goodman setup.
Well, look, you moved, right? You recently moved.
Yeah, we've been here about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, well, that's still new. So that's good.
It's a mess in here.
Okay,
yeah.
You got some light going.
Yeah. If you want more, I have to figure out. I could do more.
It should be fine. But
I don't know what's going on in this house.
I can hear you fine.
All right, good test.
And you can hear me fine, right?
Yeah, you look good, bro. Damn, you got to be doing some shows. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing with your life. You look good.
We're working on it now.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, you should have been doing it before. So much shit going on.
This is true.
So much shit going on. All right, here's a little lighting. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, that's much better. You can get some distance. You got anything to station your phone?
Yeah, that's an issue.
You can hold it. It's not a big deal, but I mean that's something to consider.
Yeah, down the road. I really don't want to go H.A. Goodman style because then I look weird. I don't know.
Just so that the camera's not moving and shaking.
I'm gonna have to purchase something, I think, because I prefer it to be. I don't know what I can get because. But
it's a phone, right? So you can just literally lay it on something.
Yeah, but I'd have to almost construct something because I should have thought about this because I wanted to have some height and at the same time stability and all that stuff. So I don't know what I can get. I'm gonna have to see.
I'll
have to buy a stand. I'll have to buy a stand of some sort.
Well, there's a thermostat behind you. So, but see, the problem with that is you would lose the background.
Let me just see.
But see,
let me try to do something real quick just to see if I can.
All right. Matt Stueck, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, stop with all that. That's when you all freak me out. Then it gets all weird and shit. Gets all weird. I don't have to do that anymore.
The world famous, renowned Matt Stueck.
I don't have to be weird anymore. I can be normal.
Absolutely. All right.
I don't have to play any real progressive games.
Okay. Well, we can, as long as you don't mind us seeing where you.
Yeah, that's. Hold on.
No. It's fine. I'm just saying we'll know the temperature you prefer.
Yeah, I don't want to go again. I'm trying to avoid the H.A. Goodman, the Hillary assassin setup.
He's a good man.
Right. He is a good man. He's a
good man. Ha!
I believe anybody who does any kind of independent broadcasting, no matter who they are taking on huge risks. So I respect them all. But
right.
I'm not gonna not make fun of them.
Absolutely.
And it's all in good fun. But I worry about their safety. But I'm not gonna not make fun of them.
This is from the Jimmy Dore School of Broadcasting. All right. So, I don't even know what we're calling ourselves, but just in case, this might be Cynical Progressives. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Cynical Progressives, or
I feel like that's your show. I don't know. But I love the name of it. I love the name. If you ever have a show, you should call it the Cynical Progressives because it's a really good title. It's a really good title, and that's what I think that's what we are. I don't know. We haven't talked in so long, so I don't even know where you stand. But I think I've become even more cynical. And So I'm in a bad place as far as all this stuff. Like, before I was in a really good place with all the stuff with Bernie Sanders and all this, and now I'm in a bad place. I have so many. Where's my damn dog? So now I'm gonna worry about my dog. Where are you, dog? Don't leave me in the middle of my broadcast. I'm in a bad place just as the way I feel about politics and all of it. Like, I'm just so not in a good place. I gotta find my dog real quick.
For those listening at home, Matt doesn't have a dog. That's just a metaphor.
Find my dog. I mean, my mojo.
Yeah, when he's looking for his dog,
where the hell did she go?
He's looking for his mojo.
Probably, all right, she's in her place.
Yeah,
she's all right. She's good. She's good. All right. So anyway, so we can talk about. There's so many things to talk about.
What do you mean she's in her place?
She's in her happy place. She's in a safe zone. She's in a safe. She's in a safe space.
Okay.
Where she feels comfortable.
People
don't like safe spaces, but my dog likes safe spaces.
Well, not online. People talk about safe spaces online, and it's all about people fighting with each other. But that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Well, and again, the last time I was involved with the movement was right after. I'm just trying to go back to try to remember, and I could be wrong. Was when the Young Turks went after H.A. Goodman, because that's where we sort of started. So remember that whole controversy? That's when I sort of left. And there was of other things that happened that I don't know if you want to discuss. But
did the Young Turks really go after H.A. Goodman, or was that my good friend, in quotes, I know him, but he did his rebuttal on sort of H.A. Goodman's remarks, and he brought in Tim Black, and he brought in Nico House, and then that whole stink.
Right. I just thought it was weird. From his I just thought it was really weird from their standpoint, because I don't even know why they're paying attention. So just the whole thing was weird. I don't think you mess with A.J. Goodman. Even if we made fun of A.J. Goodman, I think he'd go after us. I think you'd have to be smart before you do that. You'd have to really decide, do I want to get in a war with A.J. Goodman?
Yeah.
And I would say to you, no, you don't, because he's relentless. That's a relentless MFer. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but still, it. Going after a Matt Stueck or a C, anybody, is akin to Jank from the Young Turks going after a commenter under one of the posts. It really is beneath not just H.A. Goodman, but anybody to really to expend all that energy. I mean,
but if you say that, then H.A. Goodman would take offense to that, because H.A. Goodman doesn't feel that way about himself. You know what I'm saying? He feels like he's up and coming, and But I agree with what you're saying. I think you're shooting down. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand the point of it. He only did was elevate him, which is good, I guess, for H.A. It was just a weird thing.
No,
and it got weird. It got weird for me.
Yeah.
Everything got weird. The whole movement got weird.
Everything got
yeah. It's getting
but
so
no
weird
point
out there, man.
There's no point to go after. Every 2 weeks there's a new war between progressives. Okay, let me say that again. Every 2 weeks there's a new war between progressives. Okay,
it's so funny, it's so ridiculous.
Now, do I need to break that down? I mean, because we're dealing.
No, I mean, it's not even worth talking about that. I probably shouldn't have brought this up, because we could go down this rabbit hole that doesn't need. I just saying that's the last time I was involved. Came back a little bit, but like I said, we talked a couple times, and I had completely cut myself off from Facebook, and it's amazing to me how fast you can cut yourself away from all this. Like, I just cut and you can remove yourself from this whole.
As I have done, yeah.
So we're coming back, and there's so much going on day to day. I feel like none of it's being addressed. None of it's really that funny. I think it's hard to keep on top of it and generate this kind of. But God, every day it's just. Some of it's very sad, but some of it's very funny. It's all bizarre. I mean, I wake up, Bannon's fired. The mooch. It's just like nonstop, and I just feel like nobody is doing the job that needs to.
And was he? I can't. And was he really fired? Was Bannon really fired? Because he's now back at Breitbart.
Right? Is he an operative? Has he moved on to being an operative?
Yeah, and so now he's like, I'm going to war, and so he's going to be doing what his expertise is, if you want to call it that. To me, he's
propaganda.
Limited. Well, he's
master propaganda.
But he's limited.
Going back to being the watered down Nazi that he is.
He's more of a watered down Nazi being in the White House, behind the scenes in the shadows. He can now be out front and free. So I don't really see how this is a win. I think it's it's a, what do you call it?
It's a Nazi moving on.
Well,
I'm just using that term, first of all, people, because I think it's funny in one way, because he is like our modern day kind of Nazi guy.
Yeah.
I know that word is so overused and people get so, people say that we're triggered, but people get so emotional. But he is kind of like he's a bad, nasty dude, man. Yeah. And these guys are all brilliant. Let's go back to Trump. What Trump did, and because I have to just address this, what Trump did about hedging his bet and saying both sides. I wonder if he listens to that polling or Harris, because there's a Harris poll out there that was being hammered, I think, on NPR about how half the country was sort of with him and they sort of agree with him. And, and so he reads polls and he goes, if I sort of hedge my bet, and I have this belief, and I'm glad we're not live, but I believe that every Republican has a tinge of racism in them. A tinge. So there's every Republican has this a little bit of, and then there's a scale that goes up. Yeah. So every Republican has this a little bit. My dog is scratching me right now, saying you shouldn't be talking about that.
Again, a dog is a metaphor. Look, I mean to say that the every Republican has a tinge of racism really isn't. I mean, if you were a politician, you would get
scared.
You would get raked over the coals for saying that statement. But you're not a politician. The reality is most Republicans are human. And most humans, if not all humans, there are some weirdos out there who don't even have a concept of racism. They're really interesting. You meet them and they don't really get it at all, which is great. But the average person has at least a tinge of racism, because your racism is taught. See, to get angry about racism, it's sort of like people are choosing it. But we all know that's not true. Babies are not born racist. So racism is something that is taught. And once you understand that, some people believe Santa Claus is real, and then they're taught that he's not real. Some people believe in religion. Some people believe in Scientology, whatever. But these are all taught things. So racism is taught, and what you're taught as a human being, if not just an American citizen, are all the images you hear on the radio and on TV and in the media and in the newscast. You're taught that. You don't choose that. So to say that everyone has a tinge of racism is saying everyone in America, at the very least, is to a little extent taught and shown racist stereotypes, racial images. And so we react in a dark alley, or when we, in every possible. Well,
I'd like to dig my hole deeper if I could.
Please do. If you're digging a hole, then I won't be digging mine.
Yeah, I like to dig my hole deeper. Not only is it a tinge on the Republican side, so every Republican has a tinge of racism, and then it slants even more, and then it escalates as you go towards the right. Obviously, it escalates towards their side, and then it gets off on a crazy side. But I don't even know if racism is the right word. I don't know if it's it is
prejudice.
If we go back to elitism, or they always have to have somebody to look down upon, and I always feel like it's
white
their side, the Republicans. It just can't seem like, even with this, you do get a lot of comparisons between neo-Nazis. But what about Black Lives Matter? Like, that is comparable, and that is a disgusting comparison. And Republicans will throw that out as if it's okay. And I have to do everything, and my poor dog's getting upset. I have to do everything in my power to, when I hear other people say that, not to be triggered and not to really attack. Because I do, and there has been many videos on Facebook, it is kind of a disgusting comparison of the two. The two are not equivalent at all. They're not even in the same ballpark. So again, that's the problem that I have, is that, Republicans will try to make excuses. Well, what about Black Lives? And so once you say, what about Black Lives Matter? I'm like, wow, whoa, you don't even know how racist you are. You're completely, it's like secret racist. That's what we are. But they don't even know. They don't even. It's like I sort of, maybe I feel bad because they don't really know. But he got the Bernie. I was gonna wear my Bernie shirt, but I don't want to. I don't want to get people. Does it say something? Does it talk?
It says nothing. I'm merely listening to you. The top 1%.
I thought you were trying to hypnotize me. I thought you were trying to hey, get me back into my friendly zone, get me into my Bernie love zone.
Like the movie Get Out. Stir the.
But look, I didn't even wear a Bernie Sanders shirt. Like, I'm trying to back off that. I wanted Bernie to come harder at Trump. I don't feel like anybody has slammed him. Even like the celebrities, and this is, again, I'm talking about it from all my notes, but all these celebrities now coming out and slamming Trump. I'm like, where were you?
Yeah,
where were you, man? Where were you, man?
It's like, it's too easy to slam Trump.
But it's too late. It's like, where were you, man? You didn't see this coming. We also, me, you, everybody else saw this coming. We were worried. So, and it's not about Trump. It's still about the system. Yeah. The system never should have elected Trump, but you guys were so complicit or implicit. Help me with my verbs.
Complicit.
But, yeah. So,
it's
now they're all,
know
attacking because he's completely revealed himself as a cold, heartless, which we all knew he was. And they all played this game. Look, Letterman's been doing it for years, coddling him. There was an article in New York Times, what's his face? Fallon humanized him. The guy,
even Howard Stern. Yeah.
Right. They all humanize him, and he really isn't a good guy. But it comes out.
Well, not to cut you off, but on that, the author who co-wrote The Art of the Deal, which is for a lot of people essentially the defining book that created Trump, that really put him on the map in terms of how he thought, and it defined his whole persona. He is, even though he helped create the Trump monster when he wrote that book, he campaigned for Hillary Clinton during the election, and he's now a staunch opposer to Trump, so that he's even donating all of his profits, because that book still makes money. That book is decades out. He's donating all of his money to pro-immigration groups and causes and everything else. This is somebody who got to know him, who interviewed him just as a journalist, created this monster, and says, you know what I revealed to the world has been one of the most darkest and the most guiltiest things I've ever done. So he's riddled with guilt over this.
Well, it's funny you did connect the dot. You're going to make me shoot my wad because I've hustled. This is my dog that I'm petting, not myself. I just want everybody to know that if you see me stroking, if you see myself stroking, I'm stroking my dog because he doesn't
no longer
heated conversation. So I don't want people to think, what the hell is Matt doing? Well,
what kind of dog?
He's really getting to seize conversation. So the thing that I would say to you, that the other thing that I want to bring up, that this is another strategy point and stuff that I don't hear people talking about, and it might be a leap for some people. But you brought up Hillary Clinton. So I just want to do one thing is my big fear about this is that I don't think this hurts Trump. I think we still have a problem about whether he will win a second term. And the problem here is, and people are not going to grasp this, beyond the racism, is that people don't realize that during this election, I really believe there's a lot of women and I'm going to pick the Midwest, who do their husband's bidding and probably went out and voted for Trump because their husband sort of, I don't know what would be the word, puts them in a tight spot, that they feel oppressed by their own husbands. Yeah. And I feel like the way to win this next election is to sort of free those women away from their husbands. And I feel like, and this is going to be really hard for progressives to hear, but I don't think a person who's a Trump supporter can make the leap over a Hillary Clinton to a Bernie Sanders. So the best we can do is to turn those people who are women who voted for Trump, who will vote for Hillary Clinton. Yeah. They're never going to go for Bernie Sanders. So that's my real, if there's a real fear or sadness, is that the next time around for Bernie, it's going to be way tough. And I just came to this conclusion. I'm like, we have to try to turn those people who voted for Trump to vote for Bernie Sanders. That's never going to happen. We might be able to get them to vote for Hillary Clinton. So, people are going to hate to hear that, they're going to flip out, but that's just my take. I'm still a Bernie Sanders guy, but so I think we're in a big trouble when it comes to the next election.
We're in big trouble for a lot of different reasons. And you mentioned,
but again, that's just my take on it. I could be completely wrong, and I know people are going to be offended by that, but I really believe
the problem is everybody could be wrong. If I went to Harvard and I get on some talk show or whatever, and I'm ranting on about these things that I've learned, it doesn't make it true. You can bring out facts and statistics, and they can be true.
Right, that's just my take for what I.
But the opinion that you form is an opinion.
And the other thing I would tell you is, though, I can't believe that there aren't more groups. Like, I can't believe there's not a Woman Against Trump organization. Like, I can't believe there's not an organization called what? And every day they come out and they tweet something. I can't believe there's not a faux Melania Trump, Twitter account where they're just making fun of Trump. Like, I just don't feel like he's being taken down.
I believe
social media. He still runs social media. Like, we don't attack. Like, he's not being attacked on social media the way he needs to be. Like, we're weak, man. The Democrats are still weak on their attack. I mean, this guy is wide open. He's still he's still hovering at like 35%. He's still probably got enough votes to win the second. I just feel like, man, he's already exposed, but we're still being exposed as a party that's really weak. And I really fear for Bernie Sanders' chances. And I almost feel like, Hillary Clinton might be the only way to beat him next time, because if I have to push women off Trump, they're not going to vote for, the Bernie Sanders, the Jewish socialist.
Your provocative premise is good, but the Hillary assertion is probably way off base, because the reason Hillary lost is because almost no one supports her other than the automatic dimbots who were like, I want to vote for the Democratic nominee. And also the automatic, I know you hate the phrase hillbots, but these are people who...
It's funny because I was just thinking, you read my mind.
You don't say, but it's just, I'm going to vote for the women. We're way past that. First of all, I don't think Hillary's even that sort of, egomaniacal desire to reach all heights of political government. I don't think she is, she's intelligent, right? She's too smart to run again, I think. She realizes she can just go off and make money. What's the point now? I'm not even sure Bernie's going to run, right? There's a very good chance Bernie's like, you know what? I'm going to be more effective outside of the White House. And Bernie's never been about the White House. He's always been about, hey, I would like to use the White House to impact change. As soon as he gets a whiff that being in a White House is more red tape and bureaucracy, he's like, I'm going to do this outside, right? So Bernie's going to be the first one to disappoint everybody else. Everyone's going to say he's a sellout, all this nonsense. But if he thinks he's going to be ineffective in the White House because of the role of the presidency, he's never going to run. I guarantee you, he is never the type of person to run simply because he's Bernie Sanders and because the people are telling him. If he was that type of person, he would have ran third party. And that pissed off all the progressives, right?
Well, it's funny. It's funny when we talk because you always keep it on track to where I'm thinking, because my next word that I wanted to talk about is that we all, in some respects, are sellouts, and I think that's the hardest thing about politics and entertainment. That's what is like the grounding or the middle principle. How big of a sellout are you? You know what I'm saying? So, in our movement, in the indie journalism movement, it's so hard to not be almost to feel like a sellout, because like they're demonetizing everybody right now. Everybody has to beg for money, and it is about money, and they're controlling now the independent journalism, and now everybody's like, oh, we can't even try to be sellouts. They're completely controlling us. I just feel like being a sellout pays off. Doing what we do and what these other, like we talked about early in the broadcast, that I totally respect everybody else, what they're doing. It's so hard to do what we're doing, be successful, and then not be a sellout and have any kind of existence and living. So sort of like understand why you sell out. You understand why all these people sell out.
But when you talk about these topics like that, they sound vaporous, right? They sound sort of, okay, yeah, I sort of get it. So there's so many topics you're covering. So I want to give like a real world example to put a picture on that, because we hear these things, we go, yeah, I sort of get it, but we don't. Like if I'm an actress, all right, or an actor going to L.A., right, and I want to make it into movies. I want to do something major. Somebody comes along and says, hey, we got this project. It's called Sharknado, right? Sharknado 8. In my diary, I'm going to put in every page, I'm not going to sell out. I'm always going to do high quality. But I got bills to pay. I got things to do. So I'm going to eventually go, as long as I'm not killing anybody, I'm going to get paid. This is going to give me more exposure. This is going to be a piece of the puzzle to my end game. So where I'm doing the types of Meryl Streep roles and Leonardo DiCaprio roles, right? It's very unlikely for someone to say, I'm not going to do a horror movie or something when they start out in the beginning. So have you sold out, or are you being wise? That's what Bernie has done, which a lot of people cannot stand. He's going, I will sell out within the Democratic Party rather than lose as an independent or get destroyed. He made a tactical decision. So we're really using the phrase sellout incorrectly. A sellout is someone who says, you know what, I want to make movies that support Christian values, and then I do a movie and it's about Satan is king, right? You're selling out your principles. You're not selling out by taking a movie to get further down the path. So Bernie didn't sell out his principles. He never joined the Democratic Party and then said, hey, guess what, everybody? I believe that Medicare for all is a fraud. I believe women are second-class citizens. So I know we hear a lot of noise. This is why I'm making this point. We hear 80% noise, and people are like, you're a sellout, you're a sellout, you're a sellout. Well, I hate to tell the 80%, you don't have a sound understanding of the principle of what to sell out means. It's when you sell your soul, when you sell your principles, when you go against your beliefs. Just joining the Democratic Party, you could be a spy. I mean, that's like calling an American agent in Russia a sellout, because they're acting like they're Russians. They're acting like they're working together for the Russians, or an undercover cop. You're a sellout. No, they're in an organization. They're taking on the persona of the organization to achieve something without them really knowing, sort of like a backdoor. So that's my rant on that.
Well, no, that's good, because you're going to take me somewhere again to the deepest, darkest places that I don't want to go. Because if you bring me on the Bernie Sanders thing, I think my biggest issue I have, and it's mostly with some people who are on the indie slant, and I don't want to name names, but it's almost, a lot of them do almost like Alex Jones like broadcasts, right? Yeah. And they can demonize Bernie Sanders, and even the way that Bernie Sanders, yeah. Like, it's like, whoa, yeah. Easy does it. But it's like, that kind of, what would you call that? That rancor? Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. It's like, noise.
Whoa, take it. There's no reason to pronounce that name in some sort of demonic, he's so horrible, and you're just like, what is up with this person?
It's a noise.
Because but it stinks of Alex Jones. It stinks of being dramatic. It stinks of being way wrong. It stinks of being dangerous. You wouldn't want someone to do the same thing about you.
Right.
Sort of demonizing you and putting you on that, like, that person needs to be stopped. As far as everybody across the board, Trump, neo-Nazis, I don't wish death on anybody, and I don't wish that tone where, like, we need to do, we need to do something. And that's we're talking people who are in our movement.
Right.
Who are supposed to be progressives and sane.
The movement, the movement has been co-opted completely by conspiracy theories and everything else. And
it's gotten really wacky. I'm not even going to bring up names, but people I highly respected, not from where we used to work. I don't want them to think that I'm poking at them. But there's other people that I highly respected their work and their writings, and all of a sudden lately I don't know if we want to go there, but they've come out with some stuff, and I'm like, whoa!
Well, their opinions.
I never saw that coming. But I mean, you never saw it coming. It's like my thing, and this will bring us back for soccer.
There's no untouchables.
But see, it's the reason why
there are no. Right now. It's not progressive to have untouchables.
Hear me out on this. The reason why I don't like to be friends with a lot of people in my life is because, and I think maybe we've talked about this, because eventually they're going to say something that pisses me off. Right. Like, eventually they're going to make a homophobic, or they're going to mean it, or they're going to make a racist statement on it and be like, oh shit, I just wasted a lot of time being your friend. I had no idea.
Yeah. That's not the worst of it. The worst of it is when somebody agrees with you and you're like in the first 60 seconds of that agreement. Flip it. And then they flip it in that minute and 15 seconds.
You're like, whoa, no.
Oh yeah,
don't drag me into that rip current.
I'm totally down. I'm totally down with gay people. Yeah, I'm totally get it.
But this whole marriage thing.
But the whole
adopting kids.
I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, even though they're not, the most intelligent people. Wait, what? and so you're like, stop agreeing with me. Just It's horrible.
So I'm the same way. People think, why am I such a loner? Why do I only just fall in love with my dog? Because I'm very skeptical and cynical of people, and it goes back to the tinge. And I know you don't like that I'm putting Republicans
people are disappointing.
But they're the ones that scare me the most. Democrats obviously do too. They have their own issues, but it's not as exact. If I come to the Democrat, I almost my heart of heart, just with Democrats is that they'll never go far enough. They'll never care about everybody. But with Republicans is they don't care enough. So there's a separation between the two. And I just know when I'm dealing with a Republican, they're always looking. Even the lowest of the low are always trying to find the next. Republicans are always trying to look down. You know what I'm saying? They're always trying to find that where I'm hoping Democrats are trying to look here and they're trying to bring some people up. It's just that Democrats don't want to bring everybody up. And that's the failure of us and of our party. And that's what I will continue to lose until we can grasp that whole concept of helping everybody. And it's effing sad. I don't want to curse, but
it's execution. It's really about execution because the Democrats are sort of often accidentally on the right side of history, and the Republicans or the conservative right, whatever, they're on the wrong side of history. But they both care, okay? But their agenda, and I don't mean evil conspiracy theory agenda, their focus is completely wrong. Conservatives typically are self-serving, and I don't mean that as a name call, but they are really going, gosh, how do I improve my life? They're not coming from a standpoint of how do I improve life for humanity. They're typically coming from, these are the types of things that are going to benefit me. These are the things that I want, damn it. And I'm an American, so I should get it. The left tends to be, look, this is something that would benefit Americans. And so there's just a pinpoint focus. But, again, intelligent people on the right, emotional people, caring people. It's a mixed bag. There's no such thing as Trump supporter. It's all kinds of people. I mean, you can talk to the extreme right, and these people are nuts. And then you can go further right, and they're Nazis and all that. But that's not the typical Trump supporter. You have a lot of people who were just raised in a conservative household with religion and all that kind of stuff, and they're like, I don't want to go the Democratic way. I'm not about giving away free stuff. And they just got lost in the shuffle. But you got to keep in mind, the Democrats and Republicans do the exact same types. They play the same types of politics.
Well, you go back, you're going to corporate leaders, but you're bringing us to the head of we haven't even discussed, because maybe we don't even want to go there at this point, but we haven't even discussed Charlottesville, and that seems remiss. I think it's more in your ballpark. I would just say to people, college kids, man.
You're breaking up a little bit. Your reception is, yeah.
I don't know what I can do. I may still close my apps. I just want to say to the college kids out there that maybe you should do better organizing when you want to come to a rally. Because I think, I don't know, that night when they came out with their tiki torches, and am I still okay? Am I all right? Are we okay?
No, your reception is blocky now and stuttery.
I don't know what happened. So I guess maybe I don't know what to do here.
No, horizontal's not going to fix it. I think I lost you. You still there? Okay, your screen completely froze. So let's do this. I'm going to end this call, and then we'll.
I don't know if it's my battery shot or.
No, it's all reception. Okay, you might be clearing up. Did you move?
I moved, but
yeah, you're a little less blocky now.
I think on the Charlottesville side, if I just want to talk about that real quickly, I broke up there. I would just say to people who go to these events, go there to, and it's going to sound horrible, but go there to dox these people. Just get a photo. You don't need to be combatant. Just get a photo, put it on social media. That's as far as it needs to go. Let everybody else take it on from there. Don't confront them. That doesn't make any sense. Get a picture of them. Get a clear picture. Get a size, the weight, size. Get a bunch of snapshots. Do a whole photo shoot with each.
Yeah.
Do a whole, and then put them on the internet. And that's how you have to handle this. You don't. That's silly to go out there and try to. That doesn't make any sense to go down there and meet them head on. They're hoping for. That's what they're all about. They're like militias. That's their little wet dream is these conflicts. You know what I'm saying? You're messing with the wrong animal because, and I don't mean that as a term. I mean, you're messing with the wrong type of person because they're jacked for this. Like they've been waiting this probably their whole lives. Where you're probably like, this is probably not the best idea, but I feel like I should go and make right. But these guys are like,
yeah,
I can't wait to get there. Like these guys are like WWE coming up, just.
But also, so to what point? I mean, I feel like everything we're saying is controversial.
Oh,
and we're
it's also very sad, and it's terrible that what happened, and I feel terrible for everybody who was injured and attacked and killed. I mean,
of course,
but I'm just saying, for the safety factor, don't go there to start shit. Go there, take their photos, if you can get a clear shot, and put it on the internet, and that should be the way. I believe hacking and technology is the way and what everybody's doing, like shutting them down. People might not believe in, but I believe if you shouldn't hate speech, there should be rules against hate speech. I'm sorry, people in comedy have for too long they're so worried about speech being taken over, and it's really hurt comedy because there's been a limit, and it's really hurt just regular life. You can't be a neo-Nazi. I'm sorry, you can't have when your speech is dangerous and it's hate speech. We can't allow that. There has to be rules. I'm sorry. I love free speech, but there has to be rules about violence and hatred and scaring people and intimidation. That goes beyond, to me, free speech. And I really strongly believe that. And I believe it's a problem in the comedy field where these guys defend it from Seinfeld to Louis C.K., calling them all out. Dude, you gotta have a line where people feel safe. You know, it's one thing to do comedy, and it's also one thing to have hate speech, straight up hate speech.
I mean, there's so many different layers of that. For example, you know, Trump feeds on negative attention. He really does. He likes the war aspect, and he, no matter what you say, he's going to send out a tweet and all this nonsense. So I'm getting to somewhere with this, trust me, but a population of people commenting on Trump's tweets he's obviously not reading these comments individually, but the rancor and the noise of these is something that makes him happy. Okay, even if he gets angry at them, the real response would be if we could all, and we're never going to do this, but in a perfect world of people who are critically thinking, if Trump did a tweet or he said something outlandish, nobody on social media commented. You didn't comment on it, you didn't post it, you didn't tweak it, you don't respond, you don't react to it. Trump would go insane. He would lose his mojo. He would almost lose his motivation to be president, because us commenting and him controlling that narrative is what he does. I mean, someone shoots a missile to Guam or whatever, Trump is going to tweet, you know what, Rosie O'Donnell's a fat pig. Every single time. And then, boom, there's going to be a whole commentary about Trump's tweet about Rosie O'Donnell. And he knows it. All right? He's not a complete idiot. But that's a secondary thing. Going back to the rallies, the connection for what I'm saying about the tweets is, what's the point of the rally? Going to, and I know this is harsh, but going to these extreme rallies, it's almost like commenting on a Donald Trump tweet, because the extreme situation of these rallies doesn't represent the norm. It doesn't represent the root of the problem or the meat. These are the extremes of the problem. I don't have to deal with neo-Nazis and people dressed in KKK sheets on a daily basis. You know what I have to deal with on a daily basis? Shopping, getting an Airbnb, right? Just doing normal things. I rarely encounter these extremes. So it's easy to go to a rally for these most extreme situations, because it's like putting out a 3-alarm fire. But meanwhile, you know, your stove is overheating. So you want to take care of that. We put all the attention on the big things, and we completely ignore the little things that are really impacting people on a daily basis. It's like taxis before Uber. You know, it's like going after Uber when people, they can't even get a taxi. You know, we're so focused on now, let's take down Uber. Uber's doing all these bad things. But there was a generation of people who couldn't get a cab. And how was that addressed? Crickets, right? So I think we're sort of in a post-rally phase. I think it sort of makes people feel good, and it's great for networking. It's great for making connections. But after that fire goes, and then people get harmed for no reason, where are we? We're back at square one, because we're not talking to politicians. We're not voting. We're not focusing on the next election. And so Trump's just going to breeze right through. So I really think, besides progressives fighting with each other and getting off track that way, that we're off the track of the most important thing, which is how are we going to move this stuff forward. I'll end with this. Having people yell at each other on their views about racism and white privilege, progressives back and forth, is not a conversation about racism and moving it forward. It's about, I didn't like what you said, or you disagree with me, and I'm going to correct you. That, you might as well go back to the McLaughlin group, right? That's just every mainstream media, corporate media, back and forth entertainment show. Nothing gets accomplished, and I'm really, really over it. You want to call out individual people, we need to call out the progressive movement as a whole, where we've gone to shit.
Well, you covered a lot. I would say, yeah, horrible broadcasting is correct. I wasn't, and I was just trying to say, I don't think it's a good idea for anybody to go to that rally and be an anti to be the protester against the rally. I think if you go there, bring a camera with a long lens. I'm saying there's no reason to get, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I see the videos, and you're sort of hitting a video where people say, well, it's not the media is creating this racist. It's not as big of a problem, and people need to go on with their own lives and all that, but still, at the end of the day, those people do exist, and they are affecting other people's lives. And it might not be your life on a certain day, but wherever they live and whatever they're doing, they're affecting somebody. They're hurting people online or commenting. They exist, right. And what I just want to do is let them know that if I take your picture and I put it online, there's a high possibility you're going to lose your job unless you're working for the Daily Stormer or some other website or some other racist paper. What you do is not acceptable in America. So if I dox you, you're going to lose your job. So I'm saying my strategy for people who go to protesters: don't bring weapons, don't bring masks to hide your own identity, don't attack them. Buy a camera, long lens, get good at photography, get good at doxing people, put these people online. That's just what I'm saying from a strategy standpoint. I don't believe, like you said, these protesters are worth anything. I think they're silly. They hurt people. It's not good. It's not indicative of the whole country. I'm just saying, hey, anybody out there who thinks they want to think it's good, go buy a camera and go buy a long lens and take a picture of these guys, because I would have liked to know all those people and who they were, what they did for a living, where they lived, what kind of jobs do they hold? That's what I want to know. I don't care about anything else. So I understand your point, and everything else you're saying, I completely agree with. I just thought we were sort of ignoring Charlottesville, and it's. But again, I really believe that Trump did that because he's shrewd, and you did pick on another thing. I think social media is the key. I think Trump still dominates social media as well as regular media. I think that's the issue for the next election. If Democrats don't, and they continue to do this, if they continue to dismiss millennials, they can't win because it's a social media battle and they don't know what the hell they're doing on social media. Yeah. So again, I think that's the other thing. And again, I think we're in big trouble because obviously the powers that be that demonetize the people in our indie group. I knew that was going to happen. It was inevitable. If anybody gets any kind of traction, they were going to come after us. That's even like when we started at our other place. I knew my idea of a 24/7 broadcast had to happen immediately, and it had to be like a big thing, and it may have not been a big thing, but my idea of 24/7 live streaming back to back to back, so it got some traction. Other people reported on it, and it became a thing because I knew that they were going to shut down. They were going to hold down like the way they do, and they don't let people share their stuff, or like the algorithms or something on Facebook, and now they're demonetizing YouTube. Well, I knew that was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. Someone tapped somebody on the shoulder and said, hey, could you do us a favor and control these indie journalists because they're becoming a problem? And boom, the hammer came down. And I knew that was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. So I feel like what we do, this is sort of silly because my point. Because the idea that it might actually go viral, or that it would gain traction or viewers, or that they would let us, the powers would be that let us, is so against. It goes back to being a sellout. That's why sellouts really do know how to maneuver that road, and they know they have to sell out in order to become more popular. It's almost the way it has to be.
It's even worse than that. Like, it's beyond silly, because what does this accomplish ultimately? What is the end goal? I'll tag onto this. I mean, who's going to listen to this? In the best case scenario, who's going to listen to this? Trump supporters? Nope. People in corporate media? Nope. Potential voters who are undecided? No. This, in the least silly mode, in its current form, is targeting and catering and turning people into a lather and a froth that are already in the choir, that are already sort of going yes, or they come on to troll and I disagree. I agree that racism is bad. These are the trolls you get. You don't get trolls saying, no, I believe your policies are kind of not really aligned with mine. You don't get those types of trolls. You get the trolls who are like, no, racism is bad, but the way you're talking about it is incorrect. You're a jerk. No, my way is better. So you got progressives fighting with each other. So my point is, if that's the best case scenario, what good does it do to kind of rally this choir that is already rallied, either in opposition to you, but not in opposition to the movement? So that's where we're missing. That's where we're missing the point. We haven't. What was supposed to happen after the election was that people were to go. The people who made the hard decision to not vote for Hillary Clinton, I said hard, and vote third party or Jill Stein or Gary Johnson or whatever. What the hope was that everybody got woke. Well, everybody did get woke, but no one moved over. The goal was everybody's awoke, and now you're going to understand that, hey, you should have voted for Bernie, and we're now going to move forward with Medicare for all and all these things. No, everybody got woke, and the Trump supporters were like, yeah, we really are oppressed. And they got more loud. The Hillary people maybe showed some kind of regret, maybe, but they still think it was robbed from her. The Russia intervened and all this stuff, stole it from her. That had nothing to do with the candidate. So they sort of dug in their heels. And the progressives are woke, but now are fighting with each other. So there's been no transition. There was no hope for the Trump supporters to go, gosh, we got tricked, so now I'm going to vote for Bernie. Or so there's been no progression. We're stuck, and the right is going, we won, and so we're moving forward, but they're getting blocked by all this other noise. So it's a stalemate. And if we're a stalemate, people are going, yes, we got Bannon out of the White House. Well, no, Bannon wasn't in the White House before. So he got in, Bannon's out of the White House, now he's gone. We're back at zero. We're stalemate. That's not progress. We're stalemate. If we stay where we are, that means we're just going to repeat what we started. So how do we rally Trump supporters? How do we rally the Hillbots? How do we rally the left? And how do we get the progressives?
First of all, we don't call them Hillbots. That's the first step.
That's true.
You need, yeah. Because,
Bernie bro.
Again, that name calling on the left is really bad. And I have issues with other people's. There's another term that I'm not going to bring up because it's going to bring up a whole other fight that I've had online. So
it's sort of not even derogatory anymore.
Pantsuit
Bernie
Nation,
bro.
Really. Pantsuit Nation pisses me off because it can lead to being, people can see that as being misogynist. They're going to make that leap. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to give them that bait to make that leap. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be so careful. But you're right. But what I was saying, why do we do this? Is I hopefully down the road, why we do this is because I want it to be more silly. I want us to be able to talk about anything, and then you edit it down to whatever, and you wanted to make it entertaining. But there are people who are being successful out there, right? And not like that kid Anomaly always has like his weird following now, and Alex Jones has his weird following.
Yeah, but
I want to be funny and entertaining and talk about be serious, and try to be funny and try to be real. And before we finish up this whole thing, if we do, is the biggest problem I have with our broadcast, and we're going to have to go through this, is my problem with broadcasters across the board, and this does include me, is nobody can be real, nobody can be truthful because it's so dangerous. Like, you don't even know where I work, you don't know all my issues in my life, you don't know how careful I have to be when I do a broadcast like this, and that's something we have to discuss off air. And I would say to you that's
the nature of the beast of social media. Yeah.
And it's dangerous. People don't realize it. Like, all the people that I'm making fun of, who I just, sort of trashed a little bit, they are taking I believe they're taking serious risks with their jobs, their families, their friends, stalkers, whatever. I know it's a real risk. So what we do is silly and puts ourselves at risk. But I think it's important. But my problem about people who are sellouts across the board, and this is mostly celebrities, is nobody really tells the truth. There is no truth teller out there. I mean, I feel like, and that's why I guess and this goes back to you and Bernie Sanders, is of all the people, except for you, Curtis, that I feel sort of
me and Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, you and Bernie Sanders. only because I believe you believe what you're saying, and I also believe what Bernie Sanders is saying. So, I'm saying? So there's other people who talk and it just doesn't resonate, and I'm going to use the secret technology, but I'm saying he just resonates with me. So I don't know what that is. It seems real to me. Most people in life, and I'm going to go Catcher in the Rye. Most people in my life feel like huge phonies, and I feel like a huge phony. So I think the hardest part about doing this broadcast is not being real and not being able to be real to you and tell you what's going on, that I'm broadcasting from a house that's a mess. That my family, we're all working jobs. We're all stressed out. It's not honky. My life is not honky dory. I'm in pain. I'm an old man. I have issues, but everybody has to be like, I'm happy and this is okay. I'm social media guy. And it's like, no, man.
You're right. You're absolutely right, though. But I sort of think, I was going to say I sort of think everybody knows that, but it's not true. The majority, they know it sort of instinctually, but they don't really know it. Because every call I get, and almost every call I get, it's some horrible, depressing, sad thing. Whether it's about finances or money or relationships or whatever. It's always something bad. And I always say this, I always talk about this. That's all normal. That's not what makes it bad. What makes it bad is that they've somehow convinced themselves, because they're reading posts on Facebook and watching, I don't know what, the what do you call the people across the street? The grass is always greener. The Joneses. They've somehow convinced themselves that it's only happening to them. That death and sorrow and depression and breakups and financial. And I'm like, are you kidding? I mean, somebody will say something horrible to me. And then 15 minutes later, there's this wonderful post. My marriage is going great. Okay, really?
But I think my point was, I'm just saying, I feel like when I come on and do these broadcasts with you, I feel like I start the broadcast like, okay, I'm going to be 60% phony today, or I'm at 70% phony level. You know what I'm saying? My point is that I feel like whenever I do broadcasts, whether it was for RP or for here, is like, there's a part of phoniness because I can't tell you what's really going on, man. Yeah. And I'm so sorry. I wish I could tell you everything that's going on so you have a better sense of who I am. And I think maybe that's the way you have to look at a person before you judge them, whoever it is. Maybe be it a neo-Nazi or be it like really look at that guy, from the guy who was on Vice, who ends up crying because he's going to get arrested. Well, maybe he has serious mental issues.Maybe he's bipolar.
No, you nailed
maybe half those kids, You
nailed it. Yeah, that's exactly what I was referring to before. Is that the extremes of this population isn't real. I mean, it's not. It doesn't truly represent the larger population. For every neo-Nazi, for every 10 people experiencing some neo-Nazi, there's 1,000 people every moment who's, I'm a black person, I'm going to get dressed up to go shopping today because I don't like being followed, right? Or I'm going to, have my white friend get the Airbnb, right? I mean, that's something happening all the time rather than these moments. But yeah, this guy drove into a crowd. Okay. Neo-Nazi. Okay, I get what he was. That's like saying this guy defended a gangster. Well, he must be a demon. Well, he's a lawyer. Yeah, but the guy deserved representation. He made, you know what I mean? There's what people do and what people are and why they are, which is never discussed. Is this guy suffering from he drove into a crowd. Is he suffering from mental illness? Is this really an issue about Bernie's Medicare for all? That people running around, whether they are alt-right or alt-left or atheists or Christians, are these people who don't have access to health care suffering because they're on the fringes and we can sort of absorb these other things? Was he raised in a super religious family and who taught him this was normal? I mean, you don't grow up and go, I'm going to cut somebody's head off. That's just something taught in a culture, in an environment, right? So we can go, he's ISIS, but why is he ISIS? Why does he think this is normal? So you nailed it. And so once we look at these people and realize there's something that created them, there's a culture in the United States, there's an environment, there's inequality, there's financial problems, everything that Trump tapped into to get himself elected, he heard their cries. He used them, but he heard their cries. No matter how outlandish or whatever, they experienced something real. Their reactions to that reality is what's extreme. But the reality of their situation isn't extreme. They're losing jobs. They're angry. They're feeling marginalized, but they're not all of them are handling it in the intelligent, critical way. That's what we need to be addressing. That's what we really need to be attacking.
I don't think I have a response to that, because I couldn't agree more. And I think that's what we forget a lot of times. And I put myself out there because I know that when I do broadcasts, I feel there's a guilt level, because I do feel like I'm being phony, or there's a level of selling out. And there's a way that you should be looking at people. And he's a neo-Nazi, but like you said, we still have to look at him as if he's still a person that may have serious issues, and might not want to spend time on that person. But it's funny. The answer is sort of like free health. The answer is nonviolence, and that guy needs free healthcare, probably. You know what I'm saying? He probably has deep issues that me and you don't understand. He probably needs hours of therapy. He probably was beat as a kid. He's probably raised by his mom or his abusive alcoholic father. Like,
absolutely.
There's things there that we don't know. He was bullied in high school. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We don't know what drove him to where he is. Or maybe he just has mental problems. But, we look at them. Instead of, like you said, the press demonizes it. The press uses us and makes us maybe more callous and less of people and less thinking. Right. But I'm just saying also from my standpoint is that when I come on here, I want to be silly. I want to be funny. I want to be real. And sometimes those, you have to be careful, because it sort of goes back to how we got here, in that, being funny is going to offend people, and, trying to be funny is going to offend people. And that's the nature of what I do, is try to be funny. It's a very dangerous business, because someone's going to take and twist and, the way that you take a neo-Nazi and say, he's a bad person. Well, maybe he has not. Oh, that joke was whatever. It was a joke. I was looking for an angle to make you laugh, but I offended you. Well, that's going to happen. So, comedy is a tough world to be in, especially now. I get it. But also to be a progressive and to be in this movement, because, when you get in this movement, you realize how many progressives don't even really have a sense of humor. They are very really touchy. They're gonna
for the same reasons
psychoanalyze.
But for the same reasons we mentioned about because people are like, what are you sympathizing with the neo sympathizers? Right? No, we're simply saying people aren't magic creatures. They're not. So this guy, he's crying in this video, right? What does that tell you? There's something going on there. People don't drive into cars because they're the dark side of the force. It's something happened. Something's broken. Lack of education, lack of something's going on there. And you got to address it. In every criminal court in the United States, you can murder somebody. And they go, well, he's insane. He's suffering from mental instability, whatever. There's extenuating factors, right? So even murder isn't created equal. If you kill someone, they go, what? Or if I'm just saying, if there's mental illness identified, the situation immediately changes and we go get them therapy or whatever. These people who are doing things which are, to me, obviously indicating some sort of vessel of emptiness, some kind of mental trauma. Something's wrong when you kill somebody. Something's wrong when you drive a car into a crowd. Something's wrong when you're so angry. I hate black people, and this Jew with Trump's daughter, she's too beautiful. Obviously something's wrong, and then you see something. Then you get a peek into what's wrong because he's crying. Okay, now people are going to go, I haven't read any comment, but what do you know every comment? Fuck you for crying. Oh, poor baby, you little pussy. Oh, not so tough now. Instead of realizing, there it is. I see it. He's not pretending to be this way. He's not doing this for attention. There's something wrong with him. How do we fix that? Well, racism is wrong. Problem resolved. Everybody can go home now. It's not going to happen. To me, this is really something that Bernie is talking about Medicare for all. People who go shoot up schools and run into cars in the crowds and not people. These are not people getting help because this isn't something you can walk into a hospital and get help for or have the finances to get help for. And this is something that was identified 5 weeks ago, 5 months ago, 5 years ago. There's no avenue for that. So you get worse. If there's nothing to interrupt that chain, you're going to end up creating a rally for white people and stirring up that pot. So there's a bigger issue here than progressives, I think, are willing and ready to address. This black and white, on and off, Nazi, and all, there's something that creates these things, and we're completely ignoring it. And to be progressive is our job to start not ignoring it. We got to.
And I guess maybe that's why, if we're going to go Bernie love, and also, I wish Bernie had come out and said, that's why we need Medicare for all, and not to making light of this matter, but these people that you see who are stuck in hate, it's because they might have serious mental issues or they need serious help. I mean, and try to do it's going to be hard because it's a tough rope to a tightrope to walk, because people are going to take offense to that almost, because then mental patients like, he's calling you we're not mental illness. You're always going to have haters on either side.
It's just like calling somebody ignorant. Because ignorant means you don't know, but ignorant means, you're fucking ignorant. You're a fucking imbecile. Right. No, I'm saying you really don't know. And
Medicare for all, just more Bernie love, because that's my man still. He's gonna put that Medicare for all bill out next month, he said, because he knows it's gonna get shot down, but he just wants to get everybody on the record again. So props to my man Bernie. I haven't been in the fight.
You're like the only progressive left that doesn't hate Bernie at this point.
Really?
Yeah,
that's terrible. Yeah.
I mean, judging from online comments, fuck Bernie, he sold out. I mean, it's noise. It's all noise.
I'm not gonna stop my argument, because my argument about Bernie is it's logic. I'm a numbers guy. I'm a sports guy. I think progressives don't really like that, but all the numbers, all the stats still say he's the number one guy in the country. I mean, and we both know this. He's the number one guy in the country.
Most popular.
Nobody else wants to listen to anybody else. You're crazy to think that. You're going to end up with Hillary again if you're going down the road you're going. Also go state by state. We're here in New Jersey. We're going to get Phil Murphy. There's a huge political machine here in New Jersey that everybody's aware of, that I'm still learning, that I don't know much about, that I've talked about before. It goes state by state. I still have no problem with Bernie. I would think the biggest thing I have a problem with Bernie is I still don't think he's tough enough. I still don't think he's rallying at the strength. I want him to be more Bernie. I want him to be out there. He should be out there. He should be going down to Charlottesville and having a town hall. You know what I'm saying? He needs to address it in the Bernie way, saying, look, bring it back full circle where we did. Look, these people need things, whether it be healthcare, jobs, counseling, so bring it to what we did, because
hold that thought for a second.
My TV came on magically, so I got to turn I have to turn off my TV, and I have to get my dog because it's about to
I got to take a thunder. Look. Be right back.
All right, sir. It's a good time for a break. Let's take a break. So this is a time where we take the puppy break. Yes, and there's a storm coming. There's a storm coming, and I'll give you a belly rub. Oh, yeah. But don't worry, my love-a-dove. Don't worry, my love-a-dove. Mud, don't worry, my love-a-dove. Yeah. How's your Swedish? You're the sweetest girl in the world. So this break is brought to you by Puppy Love. Everybody should get a dog. They're so loyal. They're so beautiful. You're your best friend in the world. They love you. Every person out there who's a racist or neo-Nazi, you need to get a dog so that you can feel loved. Because they're full of unconditional love. So that's our little break there. I would share the rest of my place, but it's completely a mess, and you would think I'm more crazy than you think I am right now. Oh, here comes Thunder. Come with me. My dog doesn't like thunder, so she's gonna cry. Come.
Yeah, most dogs don't like thunder. Yeah, that's a big.
Yeah, she don't like it at all.
But that's like a good perception thing, because people who love fireworks and don't have dogs don't ever think about that. Where dog owners are often like, "Fuck."
Well, you just got to one other good transition, which I feel like we're talking about every issue, which we shouldn't. But I've been using you as a bit of a barometer. Did I go out?
Well, no, you just have a lot of white space above your head. And
I know I'm the whole time though. Yeah. Now you address that. It's been the whole time that I was low. I was low the whole time. Yeah. Now it's bothering you. Hold on, let me plug it. Don't go away, pup. She's walking away.
White spaces. Don't talk about those either.
White spaces. White mares. People who are white. We have white mares. Like my white mares is like I slept through an exam. Oh my God. Oh, I can't find my classroom. I call that a white mare. Oh, that's the kind of suburban white mares. I
totally get what you're saying because this is like racist. Because I cringe because I'm in DC and I'm in Uber, and when I Uber pool, you get this wonderful
cheap bastard.
No, you get. I love Uber pool, but I also do Uber Black. For obvious reasons.
Hello.
So,
sexy.
You get into these Uber pools, and so you get this weird cross section of writers. Even when I was in DNC, I'm sitting in with journalists, heading to DNC, going to the secret door or whatever, and then just a regular passenger who's heading to 7-Eleven. But it's great. Especially like on a Friday night or something, I get into the Uber pool. And there would be some other black guy, maybe a Latino or something, and like 2 white girls will come in.
It's like a talk show. It's like a talk show. It's like if you can get them talking, it's the best. It's like your own little podcast for like 15-minute podcast.
So I'm a yapper, and I'm having these conversations.
It's be great. It's got to be great for you. Yeah, you are great. A yapper. I would love. You got to start recording it.
I'm talking.
You should really seriously say, can I record this conversation because I do a show or whatever? Because I think that would be – I've thought about that often when I get in Uber is that I would love to –
I've said the same thing. We're simpatico. Yeah.
It's great. It's perfect.
I tell them all the time.
It's quick. You hit your topics. You get out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It may be horrible. It may be gold.
Absolutely.
But you're there. You might as well record it. Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah, okay. See, we'll make that a segment of the show. We'll do that.
Maybe we don't get killed for recording people in Uber.
That'll be even more fun.
That's on you, brother. I'm too afraid. I'm
too well, if I survive, then you can carry on the torch, but not the tiki torch. So I'm having these conversations, and these really gritty urban discussions talking about the world, and inevitably there'll be like 2 white girls get in, and they'll just come in from somewhere. Okay, I know this is racist, and the topic is always, you call them white mares, right? That's a great name. But they come in and their problem is so, oh gosh, and we couldn't get to the wine tour in time and they close early. And you could feel not tension, but the conflict between this conversation and the ones we had before with the driver and whoever. And we're like, this is not a problem. This is not and let me exchange information. So because we were on that tour to some El Salvador or something, right? And I can give you all the places. All the places was great, and I can tell you everything. Oh yeah, but you got to go early because and I'm thinking you have no problems in your life, which is not fair because everybody has problems, but they're white mares, and I wonder that's white privilege sometimes, right? Like,
I can go way worse than you're going, by the way, but you're being nice because I have a whole thing like women and men in Uber are so different because women look down on Uber drivers. Men are like, hey, how's it going, man? How's the job? Yeah. Women are like, ooh, Uber driver, hope you're not a nut. I'm sure you're not making a lot of money. It's just like, hey, loser, take me wherever I want to go. You're my bitch.
It's true. That's
you know what I'm saying? And a guy will get in the car and go, hey, what's up, buddy? How's work? I hope you're making some money. How's this work out? How's Uber work out for you? And the woman gets in and goes, Uber. If they're not petrified, which, again,
women can be very adversarial with one another, too. I mean, we see that in the social movement now.
But if, again, what we're talking about, if we'd have to say comedy bit or they would crucify it. We shouldn't even be talking about that. You're taking us down a road that.
But you know why you don't.
You're ruining the broadcast because now forget it. We're getting emails and letters.
But but here's the thing.
You're a racist, but I totally agree, racist.
Yeah, right.
So that makes, but I'm white, so I'm not racist because I agree that white women have very, very limited idea of what the real world is.
Yeah, and of course not all white women. We're just saying like 99.9.
We're saying kidding. Too many.
I'm kidding.
We're saying way too many.
At least 20%.
We don't want to put a number on it, but way too many.
All right. And we don't mean all white. Some people are whatever.
I've done enough research to agree with your point. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
And without revealing my career choices.
But here's the reason why you don't want to, and I know you weren't serious, but why you can't. Well, not even you can't backtrack. There's no point to backtracking because the end goal of backtracking and editing and all these things is what? Oh, okay, you're not going to get trolled. You're not going to get comments. You're not going to get emails, metaphorical phone calls. You're not going to get protests. That's not going to happen. No matter what you say or do, you're going to get trolls, emails. So my point
might as well go for it.
If the end result's going to be the same, you're ruining.
You're censoring yourself for no reason. But I still think you have to filter, you have to come with your argument. That's why, comedy is about you go on stage and you work this joke until the audience doesn't go, oh, anymore.
Right.
Ooh, or oh. Yeah. You're trying to get to the laugh. So, people who are not in comedy don't understand there's a whole routine
and a rhythm.
There's a whole
right.
Yeah. But there's a whole process to getting the joke right. Do I keep this joke? Do I get rid of it? Is it worth it? Is it worth getting in trouble? Do I really believe this?
Yeah.
So it's difficult. But I mean, and I would say that I agree with your take, and I don't want to say why I can agree with your take on that. And mine goes much deeper and have done much more research. But I want before I forget, I have been once in a while when I go on Facebook, and I've only been on like once or twice in like 3 months, which is crazy. I think about you when people get on there and try to be progressive and argue with other people who aren't. And I forget where it was, if they were attacking Bernie or whatever. I think it was they were attacking Bernie, and
You're the only one left.
I'm not sure. But anyway, they were, and I forget what it was about. It might have been Baraka going after Bernie Sanders, and then someone or someone posted it, and then they put something up, and I attacked them. I attacked somebody. But anyway, my point is everybody wants to do the whole who's more progressive than the next person, which is the other thing in our movement. And I always think about you because you're really kind vegan. And I always think of people like, if you're super progressive, you damn well better be a vegan. You better not be harming animals or the planet.
Yeah,
what I'm saying? I don't want to hear how progressive you are. So I'm always very careful that I am a cynical progressive. I don't even know how progressive. I have viewpoints. I have things in my head. I have ideas that are not progressive at all. Yeah. Like, if I said them to you, you'd be like, oh, bro, that's not too cool. Like sometimes I feel like, and I'm just going to say it because you said not censor yourself. I feel like some people who
I got to tell you,
you stopped me from hanging for myself. So go ahead.
No. I'm going to let you continue. I just want to interject 5 seconds. Is that defining progressive as, I don't know, and I know this is not your intention, but defining it as mainstream or leftist or whatever isn't progressive. It's not progressive. Progressive to me, not just to me, but really progressive. Let me put it this way: look at what's happened with gay rights. Okay, you can go back, and progressive before was like, well, we need to stop this contagion, right? We can't let this contagion running free. I mean, even progressive people and kind people were like, come on, marriage is one of the foundations, right? There's a certain conservatism to that preliminary thought, that early training, right? It's progressive now to go, fucking humans, they ain't killing anybody, right? So progressive isn't sort of just latching on to whatever the lefts or the other progressives are saying. It's often saying things which, like you said, that doesn't sound really progressive. Sounds sort of conservative. Well, because the goal should be, I don't really care how this sounds, but is this actually helping people?
Practical,
benefiting people and everything else? Is it practical? That, like, I can go on and on and on, but...
Well, I was going to say, obviously, let me hang myself. Well, I've never been I've always been sort of on the Bernie, all of his stances. I've never been anything. I think more he's taught me about, I think Jill Stein and Bernie taught me about how we have spent too much money on the military, just things that I've learned. But most of my stances have never changed over time. I've always felt strongly progressive. But the reason why I use the vegan thing too is I just like attacking other progressives that think they're so progressive, because I just like to call them out. I just like to be like, are you really, really super progressive? Well, I hope you're vegan. I hope you're not having any steak or
That's a good
chicken.
one.
Or I hope you're not. It's just a funny thing that I like to do. It's my trolling other progressives.
It's a really good one because when you do bring that up, the progressives become Republicans instantaneously.
Well, I got to eat.
No, but they say things because when you accuse anybody,
I'm so busy. How am I going to be vegan?
First of all, every time that comes up, 100% of the progressives suffer from some kind of allergy. Okay, I got to tell you, every progressive is the progressives by design. Just from my casual vegan conversations with them, are the most sickly population in the history of the United States. Because as soon as you mention that, so again, it's not an attack or it's.
Well, you're the coolest vegan I know, and I don't want to make you an uncool vegan, because uncool vegans are ones that try to I can't say that word now.
Proselytize.
Thank you. Try to use words I shouldn't.
Like the cartoon. Preach.
Proselytize. But you don't do that, and I don't want to make you do that. But I'm saying that's what I love about you is like you're not that person. You are who you are. But I love knowing that I'm not that progressive, because if I was really super progressive person, I wouldn't be eating animals that are being tortured and mass produced and just suffering just as much as anybody else. And that's what I aspired. I don't think we'll have long conversations about this, because I'll never make it. I'll never make it to be you. See, I'll never. Too weak, too undisciplined. But I'll try. But I admire. You wonder why I admire you. And I do, because I was going to kiss your ass when we first got on the broadcast, but I do.
The left or the right cheek.
Bernie Sanders probably eating tons of chicken and burgers and
Yeah,
steaks.
fuck Bernie.
Oh man! Well, now you just went really super. You just gained fans right there. But I'm saying, that's my whole new. Oh, don't make me cry. Come on, why you got to trigger me?
Yeah, no, I can't.
That's what I would say. People need to know that about you is that you are a pretty cool progressive guy, and I normally don't want to talk to other humans at all. I don't think I'm from this planet, and most of the time
Same.
I watch any kind of TV, like you said. I don't want to watch TV. It's all bullshit. It's all propaganda.
Right.
I want us to be silly. I want us to be funny. I want us to be real. I want us to let people know when we're being truthful and when we're not really being all that honest, because the hardest part is doing these broadcasts, being honest and being funny. And like you said, you have to not worry about the abuse that comes with it. But again, whenever you do this broadcast, I feel like you're putting your family, your job, everything at risk. And I respect everybody. And that's what this broadcast is about, is trying to be real as we can. But it's hard, man. You do have to censor yourself in this world. And that's why I feel like some people who have made it in the celebrity world, who have that FU money and they don't come out and they don't make bigger stances. That's why I get upset. You've got your money, man. You've got your FU money, and you're not taking that stance. There's no fear.
Yeah.
Everything's okay. You got your security staff. You're set for life, and you're not gonna step up. And that's what always makes me the most upset. That's me and you have to do this. Like me and you shouldn't have to do this. It shouldn't be me and you doing this. See,
it's
where's Kanye? Let's get him. Let's get him on here.
There's another thing. There's sort of
bad example.
Well, no, but it's a good example.
But you know what I'm saying?
There's sort of a bigger theme we've been talking about, like because Kanye, is he a showman or is there some mental stuff going on there?
No, right? Yeah, for sure. That's why I said it was a bad example.
But there's a theme here that when you think about it, we talking about Kanye, whatever, and
Kanye's just funny to me. So I use Kanye as a comic. You just throw out whatever.
I know, but he's sort of a good example. Like, should I be angry with him or
dangerous? He's dangerous at the same time. Provocative. Is he crazy?
Does he suffer from some kind of bipolar? He seems to be
He's a neo Kanye. Yeah.
And then look at the Kardashians, right? They sound like they're 12 and they don't sound intelligent, and they have all the money in the world to go to school, but they're not going to school, right? So this is what happens when you. I'm not even a big fan of school. It's sort of, I call it corporate education.
Gotta get my dog. Sorry, a little interruption. When I get my dog, we're about to get a storm here, so I just want to make sure before. Yeah, I'm trying to be proactive. But I'm with you. I'm with you. I think you're making it. Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
Okay.
I was plugging something.
This first episode is sponsored by Samuel Adams. Rebel.
Oh shit! You're drinking. You
Rebel.
Bastard.
No, it has a cap on it.
I was gonna say. I was like, damn, you're drinking this whole time.
Samuel Adams Rebel IPA, and the tagline is "Brewed for the Revolution."
Oh, nice.
So I figured this was an appropriate.
That's a great sponsor if we can get them, but they'll never.
Yeah.
Samuel Adams is too big for us.
Yeah.
We need a microbrewery.
Look, I met Rockefeller, Eileen Rockefeller. Remember that story? So we can get funding that way. Don't worry about it.
I didn't know. I don't think you told me that story, but I don't know if you want to save that for another day.
Well, I'll save it for another day. But yeah,
the point was, I think we were going off on some weird tangent. But I still believe though when that social media, Kanye, Kim, that's where we are right now, and that's the biggest problem. And people don't get that social media is going to be the key to the next election. And I still think Trump dominates that, and we're not going to win. I don't know where you were going with your point.
Well, no,
I went to pick up my dog.
I didn't. My point is, I never know where I'm going.
We brought up Kanye, and then we went.
Well,
the whole
if you think about
show went on
all of these tangents, as I often like to say, they may seem like tangents, but they're just tributaries to an ocean that's flowing in the right direction. Kanye and the progressives and Trump supporters and neo-Nazi sympathizers, all of these things that we've been talking about seem like wild, diverse, but because we always know what we're talking about, even if we don't know how we're going to say it, they all lead to sort of this thing about perception that we're sort of getting into. Looking at even the alt-right and going, oh, you just lost all your power? What happened?
I just lost the power.
Awesome. White power. See, and this is how you do it. This is how you take the power from the white person.
It says reconnecting, your power is out. I don't know how much storage. This is classic, man. Because
yeah.
So I just lost my Wi-Fi, and my Wi-Fi's down now, so I'm going on pure signal.
You're on
and
cellular.
I'm in the dark. I'm completely not. This is so good. I'm so not prepared for a blackout. This is so dangerous. I'm so glad you're on the phone with me because my house is a mess. I could easily trip and kill myself right
awesome.
now. Also,
everything you said was racist, by the way. White out, blackout.
Hey,
dark.
Don't put me in that corner. Don't put me in the dark. It couldn't be scarier right now. I'm in the middle of a thunderstorm. I'm with my dog.
Yeah.
You can barely see me. And I don't know how. So I don't know how much power. I don't know. I have no idea how long this broadcast will last. So talking to you is going to cause me to lose my phones. This may be where we have to decide whether we end this broadcast. Because
I think we will. There's no.
I have no call. I have no car. I have no way. I couldn't go to my car right now and charge my. Oh, it came back on. Oh, we're back in business, buddy. But I have no Wi-Fi. Everything's out. No, we got power back on. Power's back on.
So what do you got to do? Flip the switch back on?
Yeah, I gotta just make. Hold on, that's hysterical, man.
Yeah.
Damn. Too much energy.
Dramatic.
The energy of the first broadcast.
Dramatic happening on the episode of.
All right, hold on. I don't know if it was the mention of Kanye that did this. Or the Kardashians. We might have summoned something.
No one really knows how much power Kanye has.
We might have.
I think
summoned a very evil element.
Maybe
those people did make a deal with it. Maybe the Kardashians made a deal with the devil.
Power.
We just.
Well, let's talk about some headlines. Are there any headlines going on that we should be discussing?
Oh man, you want to talk about pop culture? Because that's that I read.
Well, pop culture or anything, just whatever.
Well,
you could be cynically. I mean, you could talk about Home Depot and still provide a cynical, progressive take on it.
Oh fuck!
I feel like I'm in the worst sequel to Blair Witch.
Jesus, this is not good. This is I don't know how to get light back on in this place.
Don't you smoke?
No. What?
I thought you smoked.
Just because my teeth are yellow. No, I'm just old.
No, I figured you're in New York. You're a white guy. You must smoke.
Damn, that's racist.
I know, because then you just needed a lighter. Was where I was getting at.
I feel like the old man, stumbling around his house. What the hell is going on? Let's pull this out.
Well, until you start.
Oh my God.
Until you start raising your hand.
I don't know.
And yelling at the kids. Turn down your music, you bastards.
All right. So, it depends on where you want to go. I don't know if you want to talk pop culture or there are things that interested in, but I don't know if we have the same interest. So I don't know if you want us to keep talking on what we're talking about, or it's up to you.
Well,
I'll throw it out there, and then you just tell me whether you have any
my
interest
point
in.
is, everything has, when you view the world through a cynical progressive eye, everything is worthy of that topic. Every commercial, every happening, every event, your response to it should be, anyway, a progressive response. So it doesn't matter the topic. That it's sort of to pigeonhole progressives into only talking about politics doesn't really put a grasp of understanding what politics is. Because you talk about being vegan, that's food politics.
Well, it's funny that you brought up. I really want to know Curtis the vegan. So let me ask you a question, because you asked what's trending and what do I care about, and it might be like, trending? Why does he care about this? I am heavily invested, and I don't know how you feel about. So this is brand new territory for us folks.
All right,
I am heavily invested in the Mayweather-McGregor fight.
Oh, really?
And I don't know how vegans feel about combat sports.
Well,
combat sports. Violence in combat sports.
I've never actually heard it phrased as a combat sport, but it is.
This is the biggest fight in the history of combat sports, they call it, because one is MMA and one is boxing. So I just want to know, what's your stance on boxing, and what's your stance on this fight, and do you care? I am heavily invested.
Well,
and I don't get heavily invested in anything.
It's where do I start? First of all, I mean, I was a huge boxing fan. I sort of lost interest after the Don King phase, you know what I mean? And the I was going to say the heavyweights of the game, but those Holyfield and Tyson, and going back Sugar Ray Leonard and everyone in between. These were spotlight moments, right? And so I love boxing, and then MMA came along, and this was sort of after that whole Don King is messing up the game and everything else. MMA came along, and it was raw, and it was fresh, and it was more direct, and I was like, yeah, beat these people to a pulp, and I sort of left boxing. But then there was a big fight. I can't think of it now, but it was a huge fight, huge boxing. I can't think of who it was, but
so Pacquiao Mayweather. I mean, that was the last big one.
Was it that? Yeah, I think that was it. And I was riveted. I remember Tyson fighting that last time, and I love boxing so much that when he came back, and he's like 94 at the time, right? Not really, but he's like 94. He hasn't fought in forever, but the mystique of Tyson was so large that everybody, not just me, was like, this is gonna be a good fight. Oh, Tyson's gonna come back, and all logic went out of our head. Fighters don't do that. Maybe George Foreman gets a lucky little comeback. Great character, George Foreman. But he was way past his prime. It was over. So it wasn't until during the fight and after the fight, you weren't surprised. You were just awoke. You were like, of course. And, it wasn't like, what happened? You were like, what was I thinking? So anyway, lover of a game. I love the commentators. That one guy, he's always...
Because I wasn't sure, because I didn't know if I wanted to bring it up, because I was like, I don't know, as a vegan, does he frown upon violence and not, so I didn't know if it was a bad topic. So I would tell you, we're definitely have traveled the similar road. I was a big boxing guy. As soon as MMA came, boxing definitely faded. I was a big Mike Tyson guy.
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated, and I've been in and out of MMA. I'm not like, completely there. I don't know all the players, but this matchup is I like again, it always comes back to me is trying to see a different angle, trying to see what other people are not seeing, and seeing a different angle that not everybody's discussing. So I only have two, and one is, if Conor McGregor was to win this fight, and it doesn't matter what the odds, he's going to become a very wealthy man overnight, because he can pretty much dictate both sports, and the payoffs are going to be just he will probably quadruple the worth of Mayweather, which is kind of outstanding. So that's just people that don't talk about that. So if he was to win, it puts him at this weird level. The other thing is, can he win? I really believe that, again, Mayweather is one of the greatest, if not the greatest defensive fighter of all time. Mm-hmm. People don't also understand his conditioning is bar none. He fights the same way in the first round as the 12th round. And Conor has a history of gassing. So if he has a way or if Conor doesn't handle this moment properly and shows that what he has shown, that he does gas in big moments, then it's going to be horrible. But at the same time, I love his approach. 4 rounds. I love the sell of the fight. I think everything they're doing is almost perfect. I couldn't. They're doing everything so perfectly. So I'm heavily invested in watching all the fights, all Mayweather's fights, all McGregor's fights, trying to find what the angle is, and I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah. But Mayweather is sort of like the villain, right? Because he's an asshole.
He has, but he's trying to soften himself now in this last fight. He, through his all access, he's trying to. He's with a kid who's dying from leukemia or cancer or something, trying to be more of a family man, just trying to soften himself, and he's sort of letting Conor be the bad guy because Mayweather needs. Yeah, well, Mayweather needs to move on to more promotion, and I think he understands that people really don't like him, and it would be hard for him to keep running his business as a promoter. So if he can win with some, and I'll be careful here because he sounds racist, but if he can be more, be classy and outclass McGregor and come across, he can maybe redefine himself.
What were you going to say? If not be so ghetto?
No, I just think if someone says that, they're going to say, why is he not classy? I'm just saying he was always the villain. He always had to sell the fight. Yeah. He always had to make himself. He knew what he was doing. I think he's a bit of a phony. I think there's a guy that, might need some counseling. I'm sure he has tons of issues between how he was raised and stuff. And because there's something wrong with something. They're both obviously there's always something wrong with someone who wants to fight. But I'm just saying Mayweather just seems like he's not being himself, or they're both highly egomaniacal. But again, either way, he needs to redefine himself. I think he's trying. I think he's failing. But it doesn't matter. The fight itself. Going back to the fight, I think this could be the real deal. Only because Conor McGregor does not fear Mayweather, and he really wants to come out and put on a performance. And I think a lot of these guys in the boxing world, as in like basketball, are very careful about their well-being, which is fine. But I just don't think. I think at Conor's age, he's said a lot of trash. He's got to come. He does come forward. They're both counterpunchers. That could be bad, but I think it's going to be. I'm excited. I haven't been as excited.
I want it to be
since like Hagler Hearns or Hagler Leonard or or Hearns Leonard. That's a long time ago. I mean, people wouldn't even know what we're talking about. That's in the 80s or something.
Yeah.
So to me, there hasn't been something like this, and it's like something that if you want to say that something distracts me and keeps me going and. I watch way too much of this shit, man. I watch so much Joe Rogan. I watch so much McGregor.
Joe Rogan.
So many
he's
fights.
An ass too, but he's great at commentating.
There's not many people I idolize. I would love to have Joe Rogan's life, to have a podcast that big, and
Fear Factor. Yeah. Go on.
Well, I mean, no, but his podcast, and he gets to go to these fights and watch it, front row of the fights and announce them, and he does it. I love his commentating.
He's good. He's really a great.
I'm jealous. I'm so jealous of Joe Rogan. He's good at stand-up comedy. He pretty much has what I could see as the perfect life. I just couldn't do. I don't know martial arts like he does. I don't have the brand of comedy he has. So I like Joe Rogan a lot.
But his life.
He's a libertarian. He's not an animal lover. So
that
stuff.
Fuck Joe Rogan. But, But
you're gonna get yourself big trouble for saying fuck Joe. That could be the most dangerous thing you said all
FTV.
podcast.
So his life. Not his life, but his level of life is, I don't want to say ideal, because there's so many studies that prove that having wealth isn't the cure of happiness. But I don't want to go down that road.
No, I'm just saying I want his life. I like his life. Like if you said, who do you want to be? I would say Joe Rogan would be a pretty good life for me.
But that level,
stand-up comedy, podcast, go front row seats to the fight, and commentate on the fight. It's a pretty good life.
But that level of life is what I'm talking about.
Smoke a lot of reefer.
Is ideal. See, I told you probably smoked.
No, I don't smoke reefer, but it might legalize here in New Jersey, so I'm getting very excited. I'm hoping.
Okay, medicinal.
Yes, medicinal. No, not medicinal. It's purely, I can't wait to see what the hell it does to me. I want to see if, I'm curious to the effects of marijuana and how. I have a job.
I support the legalization.
Yeah. Oh, well, it could happen. Phil Murphy is a bit of a sellout. We're hoping that when he gets elected in November, which is almost a no-brainer, he will sign this law that's already been tweaked and put into place. It's just whether he's going to sell out and whether he really is who he says he is. I think it's 50-50, man. I think he could turn either way. It depends on who wants to give him the most money for the next election. But it really would behoove him to I'm going to say I was in an Uber pool, and I told somebody how ugly New Jersey is across the board. Like, there's some beautiful places, but it's a traditional strip mall city, and I'm like, marijuana would help because you get those quaint little chop shops and dispensaries, and you get a little eatery. We have a lot of stores out of business. It helps the economy. It takes this stuff out of the closet and puts it in the mainstream. And the guy was like, no, this is funny though. He's like, you think New Jersey's ugly? You don't like New Jersey? And I was like, hit a nerve. And I was like, no. I backpedaled completely in the Uber. I was like, no, man, no, New Jersey. No, you're right. I went a little too far there. I'm just saying it could help the aesthetics of New Jersey. So even though I think New Jersey crappy to look at, but
the only time you went too far, I think, is when you became Class A and used the word behoove.
Behoove. You always called me out because, the first broadcast we ever did, you called me out when I used the word paradigm. And I was like, man, this guy is going to try to limit my vocabulary.
No, it's fun. I'm back. I'm giving you a backhanded compliment of your extensive vocabulary. Yeah. But it would behoove me to do so.
I use these words, and sometimes I get nervous inside. Like, I'll say it. Like, you must pick up on my insecurity. Like, did I use that properly? I threw out behoove, and I have no idea if somebody else is. Because oh God, this is so great. There's another reason why I left Facebook besides the other stuff, personal stuff that like when I just thought it was all getting so ridiculous, and we left the other organization, and it got really ridiculous. People used to come to my wall all the time. I used to have grammar Nazis come to my wall all the time saying, you really need to work on your posts because they're very confusing and I don't get them. And I'm like, look. And then I would get into like heated. I'm like, and I would just go after them like big time. Like, I would just thrash them.
A little unhinged.
Whoa. Yeah. No, I enjoy that because like, come on. Are you serious? You're going to sit here and worry about how I write my Facebook post?
A little bit unhinged. A little bit.
I love being unhinged. I love being triggered. That's when I'm at my best.
Yeah.
I'm not interesting. I think a lot of this when we talk, I actually like when someone triggers me. I like when someone unhinges me only because my brain works a little faster and it's to me, it's a little more entertaining. I think this at a low level is more like, this could be like, someone could be like, I'm going to go sleepy time. Sometimes I get why people who do their broadcasts, like a lot of like Anomaly and there's other names, but I know why they do what they do because they're trying to be entertaining. But at the same time, it's like sometimes they're selling out. They're trying to be overboard to get those listeners and fire people up.
They become a character. Yeah.
Right, a character of themselves, and I think that's happening in the movement. The thing I would say to you is, I've been out of the movement. I don't know what's going on in Facebook world. It got really silly to me. Maybe it was Louis C.K.'s bit on Saturday Night Live, and he was just like, "Man, you think that you're doing something by posting all this stuff on Facebook?
Classic.
It's so set."
I love that.
Yeah, I was just like, so that was involved, and then our group, and then getting booted out of. RP and all that
fired.
But it was all at like a time of my life where I was like, you know what?
Fuck this.
Like you said. And we talked about, you came to my need a couple times. You said, look, you need a break. And you did some videos. You really make great videos. Like I said, I do this because you are the super talent. I'm just a guy who probably could talk anytime, anywhere, and have some interesting shit to say, but you have all the skills.
We go.
You got the professional mic, you got the headphone, you got the look, you got the backdrop.
Stolen.
You're more. You get broadcasting. You understand. It's very difficult to understand everything that you understand as far as what makes broadcasting interesting, how to keep a conversation going, and then your editing skills are unbelievable. So I did end up kissing your ass, but this is really important that you are not doing more. And hopefully I can get some records. I text you this constantly. You're wasting so much talent. I'm like your dad. You're wasting so much talent. So waste of talent, Curtis.
Different strokes in the.
I know I can't reach you. I don't. You need free healthcare. You need better healthcare. You need some therapy.
All right. Look,
you neo broadcaster.
I do want to circle back around out of the blue like crazy, to talk about. Because you hinted on some things about veganism and everything else. I don't want to talk about veganism, but you asked, well, you're a vegan, so I don't know if you like boxing. And that's actually an interesting thing because...
Does that make me a veganist? Does it?
Yeah. A bigamist? I don't know. Very bigamy.
I was trying to think of a word that makes you all of us already. You're making stereotypes of vegans that are not there. But a lot of times, even with like the statue removal, I feel like you got to go to the black person to get the full take. Like people like in our world, like you shouldn't do that. Like that's white guilt. I'm like, no, I like to better understand things from all perspectives, and I think really to hear a black person's perspective is very important on statue removal. I think it's better for me to hear it from you than for me to again. I think it's a little disgusting, disingenuous to get involved with that argument. I think it's more to listen and to learn. And again, so that's why let's go back to. I don't want to get you off on the statue.
No. I mean,
back to the veganism.
But I just get my Michael Jackson tub of popcorn, and I listen to all the white people talk about racism, and I'm just like. And again, all while I'm trying to book an Airbnb. So you make a sort of a good point where.
But I interrupted you. Do you want to go back?
No, I will go back. I will go back. Right. I have the memory of a dying elephant. So it's like they're all talking about this, and we're sitting here going, I mean, sometimes there's a sense of like this white rage. So they say white guilt, but there's a positive side. It's white rage because they finally get it sometimes. And
I hate the word white guilt because
I know
I'm being a human. So when I'm trying to get your perspective,
I'm
trying to be more compassionate, more empathetic, taking in information that I put into my hard drive. So
I get
can
that.
Access it later on so that I go, I've talked to other black people and they've said this and this and this. How do you feel? So you don't offend somebody. But in our world, and again, a lot of times this can come from Democrats, but I think it pushes more Republican. Oh, you have a lot of white guilt. And I'm like, that triggers the comment white guilt triggers me. Again, you say that, I'm like, you know what? You say white guilt, I say lack of empathy, lack of compassion. And I want to go, and I will like, you're a fucking, that's when I want to go, that's what I have to like. So I have to make some decisions when I'm talking to someone. Do I back out gracefully, or now do I come over the top and hammer them? You know what I'm saying? So
as
a comic, it's very hard.
There's so many different layers to everything.
It's like Conor McGregor. I want to dismantle them right there. I want to throw my hammer fist. What the fuck? Who the fuck are you?
I call it white rage. That's what I said. It's like some people call it white guilt, but I go it's white rage because what you're experiencing is like a lot of people getting it. And when you finally get it, you become enraged, right? You're like, this makes no sense. But what's funny is on the other side of that, it's like people who've been experiencing this for years, for decades. And so they're seeing this conversation start to bubble up. And it's something that they've been talking about outside of the glare of media and everything else all the time because they are experiencing it, right? It's that white privilege, right? People get so upset when people don't understand white privilege, and I'm sort of not attacked. No one attacks me, but I'm sort of
Facebook attacked.
Or people. The very concept
confronted
of white privilege
is that tax too strong of a word? What word are you looking for?
Well, the very concept of white privilege is to not know. So if a white person comes out and does not know, and I get mad at and I get mad at that person.
Well, what about calling it white ignorance? Well, what about calling white ignorance? Because I think white privilege can set the tone in the wrong directions. What about white ignorance? Or is there something else we can say besides white privilege?
Of course, but that's not of course. But my point is, for people to get mad at someone who's white, whether you call it white privilege or white guilt or whatever, because they don't know. It's like spanking someone who's suffering from a mental illness, and they keep putting their finger into an electrical socket.
Or hurting a dog after it did something. It's like they don't get it. They don't know.
And you take the belt and you beat the shit out of them, and you go, no, I would do that to you, right? If you were my kid, right? I wouldn't, but I'd be like, look, you're functioning normally. Your brain, there's no problems there. You are just sticking your finger into the fucking socket, even though I told you not to because you want to. But this person has no clue. So what do you do? What do we do? Do we spank them? Horrible parents do. But the average normal parent educates them, teaches them, right? This is the problem with these white guilt or white rage or white. we get mad at white people who come back and say, this is not a thing. I go, again, because I don't know if I'm a special kind of black person or whatever, but a lot of us, we go, of course you don't know. That's what you don't know. When you go shopping, you just go shop. I know I keep bringing up Airbnb. When you go Airbnb, you just go Airbnb. When you do anything,
I think we need a new term, because I think when they hear that term privilege, they flip the F
out.
Of
course they do.
If there's another way to open up the conversation, because none of these words trigger me. Like, I'm fine with you saying I'm privileged, white privilege, or all those terms. I get it. I'm always trying to learn. But I think for the other people, it's hard to open up their ears to listen. Once you say white privilege, they shut down immediately. You know what I'm saying? They're offended. They're ready, you know what I'm saying? They're triggered. And they're like, oh, white privilege? No, I'm not, so you're like, we don't know how
to, we don't know how to debate and but we don't know how to understand.
But they're not open to education too. I feel like a lot of those people, like you're saying, even if they got offended by the term white privilege, they're not going to listen to you educating them. You know what I'm saying?
Why are they
they were taught that way. They were taught that way. So how do you? But how are we going to re-brainwash these people? You know what I'm saying? I mean, or take away their brainwashing to make them more open-minded people. How it's not possible.
But I'm also giving you. I mean, I'm also adding fire to your talking point there. If you offend somebody, intentionally or unintentionally, it doesn't matter. But when you offend somebody, the reaction is not going to be, okay, you called me a dyke, but educate me now. Let's learn. That's not a normal human reaction. That's not. So
right.
So so what am I going to do? I'm an asshole, right? So I'm going to come back and go, well, you don't understand the definition of white privilege. You don't understand the history of white privilege. None of this is working. You've already offended me. You shut me. So I really have a problem with progressives on this. And really, I'm saying I really have a problem with humans on this, okay? Because we do not know how to debate. We do not know how to discuss. And 80% of the time, which is a completely made-up statistic, you can take two people on the same topic, and they agree with each other, but they're almost always coming at it from a different angle, so they think they're in disagreement. No differently than if you take a Japanese genius and you take a Chinese genius, and they only speak their language, and they're both talking about how do you make water. Brilliant. They're geniuses. They're brilliant. And they both are on the same page, but because they do not understand each other, it's a Facebook post argument. Social media. And we don't have enough people who are critical thinkers, critical discussers, critical debaters, because, again, progressives are just made up of people. That's the beauty of it. These are not commentators and studied journalists or whatever. So you're dealing with raw emotion. So the problem is the debate and the dialogue is just noise. And I don't know how to interrupt that without, oh, you're on the wrong side, or I disagree with you, you're a troll, right? And that is going to kill us. We need some global mediator like we had Bernie.
Well, that's funny. Yeah. Well, if I can jump in, it's funny when we were going to do this broadcast, I didn't know whether it's funny. I just hoped, and I watched a bunch of stuff on Facebook, and there was one guy, this black guy, who did a TED talk, and he kept me in. He did the whole thing on basically Facebook arguments. I'm trying to think of the crux of his whole video. He was trying to educate people about, I think, white privilege, and then he decided to go over and sort of infiltrate the other side and see how they were thinking. And then he came back, and then basically at the end of his TED talk, he basically says exactly what you're saying. So he kept me in. He almost lost me a little bit, but the ending thing he says is, the problem is we don't have real conversations with people, and we don't know how to have conversations, and that's going to be the issue going forward. But there was no real, again, you say this, and you're right about the solution, but how does it help? Like, how do we, that you were absolutely correct, but yeah, things are, so it's that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It takes a guy like Bernie Sanders to go down to Charlottesville and have a town hall. These things need to be done. You need to have all those people talking and have an open debate, and let him, he's so good at it. He's so good. Yeah. Just like when he went to Liberty University or Liberty College. University, he went down to, what was the other one? He just did the one to healthcare, and what was it? He went to Virginia. Was it Virginia that he went to when he went to the about that. He was at the coal miner and he was trying to it wasn't great, but he did a good job. I don't know if it was Virginia.
It might have been D.C.
I'm not sure.
I'm not
but
sure.
He just did one recently that was really
GW,
good.
George Washington University, but I don't.
But he needs to go down there. I mean, Bernie needs to be more. He should be doing a town. I don't understand why he's not doing it. And again, we're getting off topic. But why wouldn't he be doing a town hall?
There is no town
a month.
Well, he did that. He did that. Horse and pony show with what's his face, the DNC chair. He went around.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, but he needs to step out a little bit more on his own. He needs to take the role as the leader. Fuck them. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get on that whole thing.
Yeah, I think he's just exhausted.
I know I am.
I know I am too.
I hate when I do that to Bernie. It's like, Bernie, can you do everything? Can you do everything?
I know.
You're not doing everything.
And you can criticize him and call him out, which is much different from he sold out. I don't believe that. I mean, anyway, I don't agree with.
When we get on that whole thing of people saying he sold out, I want to see your whole track record, man. I want to see your whole resume. I'm going to have to see your whole life in reverse before you have the the right to call him a sellout. I'm going to have to see your whole life on paper. You're going to have to send me your memoir, your bio, because I got a good feeling. I'm a gambler, and I got a good feeling. I'll take Bernie over you any day, buddy. And I don't care who you know what I'm saying?
That's an excellent point, too. I mean, it's like, look, say what you will about Bernie, but
I don't even have to know. I know you're a hypocrite right now. Not you, Curtis.
I know.
The person who bashed Bernie, I know you're a hypocrite now, Bernie bash. I know you're a hypocrite. I don't even have to. I just know it. I feel it.
It's true. It's true. And even if Bernie was a hypocrite now, which I don't believe he is, even if he was, I'm like, he earned it. Because he was a non-hypocrite for a gazillion more decades than the average person. I don't understand Bernie. I know it's post-election, so people have a new framing of Bernie and all this stuff. But the context of Bernie, from him, defending blacks and against the police, in a time when that's not a normal thing to do, right? I mean, he was a Bernie bro before it was hip to be a Bernie bro, right? He was doing things that I don't understand after decade. It was just...
From now on, man, when people call me a Bernie bro, I'm going to go, you know what? No, I'm Susan, bro. Fuck you. So, because you want to pull that, you want to call Bernie bro? No, I'm Susan, bro, and I'm here for her daughter. So fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw it right back in your face.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw it right back in your face. So come at me. Call me a Bernie bro. I want you to. Yeah. I want you to, because I'm a Susan, bro.
See? A little bit unhinged.
Oh, yeah. You make me unhinged. I'm coming at you. It's going to be ugly. You're going to be in... It's like Conor McGregor. You're in the wrong feet. I've told you this.
Conor McGregor.
You can't fuck with me. Who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck? You'll do nothing. You'll do nothing.
I think it's important for us to describe ourselves a little bit, just like in 2 minutes. And I want to do this by...
Well, my teeth are very yellow, and it's always going to affect my broadcast. Yeah, it's going to affect my broadcast.
Don't mention...
I don't know. You'd have to ask me questions because I'm afraid to reveal too much information. So I would like you to edit this part out, depending on what I say. And later on, when I'm like, I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, if you want to have a Q&A, you want to do a little Q&A like we're on
that's why I'm drinking beer.
You want to do speed... If you want to fucking do a speed date with me,
this is why I'm drinking beer, because...
You're so lucky.
No, but it won't be in the...
Life is so much easier, Curtis, when you're doing it on beer.
It won't be. This will not be in the video.
That's why part of you is like vegan, yeah, great, but you're not taking on the world sober, and that's fucked up. You're not, that you're medicated, bro. So
listen,
I'm jealous. I'm highly jealous of people who drink alcohol because
I hate it.
Makes the whole world.
I hate it, actually. I want to stop. In fact, I'm seriously thinking about giving it up in 2018 on New Year's, but... Side joint.
Haven't drank in 5 to 7 years. I've never different times in my life. After college, I gave up alcohol, and so I was your traditional kid drinker from, I don't know, now 13 to 24. Then I went on abstinence, and then came back like a little bit, nothing drastic, and then. But I would say the majority of my life has been without alcohol. But I think life is so much better with alcohol. So good. Alcohol is so good. It's so good. Alcohol. I'm sorry, people. Alcohol is so good. I hate the taste. But the effect. It's just. it just makes everything like a Sade song, and it just makes everything woozy. And you gotta use the right
Sade. Yeah,
it's got to be the right limit. But God, alcohol.
So why did you give it up? Did you have a problem?
I think I thought that many times I could. There was no.
So I'm like an asshole drinking in front of you.
No. I don't have a. I'm not a. I wasn't an alcoholic.
Yeah.
That's being very dramatic. I think it runs in my family, but I definitely felt like there was a switch I couldn't turn off. I felt like, but it wasn't. But I was, I would never go to the beer store. That's how much I'm not an alcoholic I am. I would never go to the beer store. I would never.
What's the closest beer store?
But if it was in front of me and I was started to drink, maybe I wouldn't be able to stop. Yeah, but I think most people get that way. But I never felt like it was a problem. I just didn't. I like sugar and caffeine and talking fast rather than being like boo-hoo. And
you sound like a New Yorker.
Oh, I want to fight somebody, or I didn't get laid. I don't like where it takes you at the end of the night.
Yeah.
So I'd rather be high and funny and jokey and more clear-headed. So, I love that alcohol is effective. I love that alcohol is like, it works. I like things that work. You know what I'm saying? So you can't deny that alcohol works.
So
that's all I can say.
So you don't like Mexicans?
Oh shit.
That'll be edited out. That was just for you.
Facebook. That's what you could ruin my life. You could just edit all.
See, you
of
can't say things like that because people think you're saying that. They do not understand satire.
I said nothing about Corona, specifically. But no. But anyway, do the Q&A because I think that last alcohol conversation. I was just a little jealous that I know that you're having much more fun doing this podcast than I am.
Because I'm talking to you, and you under. I mean. Giving that up, it's like a superhuman thing. To me, it's like when people learn other languages. To me, these are like superhuman things. Yeah,
we have a similar thing. Like I feel like everything that everybody else does in life is superhuman.
Yeah,
it's anything that anybody else does.
But
because all I can do is talk. I have no other skills. So I look at the whole rest of the world as superhuman. So I have the same concept.
Do you know the defining trait of someone who is far more grounded than the average human being? It's that feeling, that sense that everybody else is somehow this or that or da. If you were running around as like, I'm Kanye West, guess what? You're fucking nuts. All right. So that is a gift in and of itself. And you can name 10 people in 5 seconds in the movement now who are egomaniacal, narcissistic hot messes, right? In seconds. That's not.
I don't think I'm much different from them. I'm just self-aware. Like I don't feel like I think I'm just as probably egomaniacal as them, but I'm aware of it. Like if you said, Matt, you're egomaniacal, I'd be like, you're probably right, bro. You know what I'm saying? Where if you said,
what's the difference?
Like,
self-awareness.
Curtis, you're not my friend.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
For me, I'm like, you know what, buddy? You're probably right. Maybe I should tone it down a little bit. Maybe I.
Yeah.
No, I know I look at myself the whole time. I try to get the whole squinty thing going on. I'm worried about my teeth. I know I got some narcissism in there, and I know But no, I agree with you. But I think that's part of wanting to be a broadcaster or putting yourself out. I think that's part of having. You got to have ego. I mean, if you want to break into the whole comedy thing and why I wasn't successful is I didn't have a big enough ego. I didn't have enough confidence. If you want to be successful in anything, it really requires a high level of scary ego that, to me, is a turnoff. But it's the key for success. I mean, I think now you're getting more like Louis C.K. and Billy Burr and guys that have risen to the top through social media deserve it. The rest of the guys that are sort of like mid-level, they're just all very egomaniacal. Don't belong there. And I'm not trying to hate. I'm just trying to tell you. I understand.
It's true.
I don't hate on egomaniacals because I really believe it's still a thing. It's still a necessary evil to be successful.
But you.
That's why I'm in a shitty little apartment with my beautiful, loving dog. But you know what I'm saying? I mean,
but you said the key phrase, which is self-awareness. Right. That is the defining force to success.
But you don't want to be. But being self-aware is painful, man. You don't want to be there. It's not good.
Self-awareness is like ignorance is bliss. All right. If you want to be blissful, then go alt-right. You're just going to be running around yelling at people, and you have no clue why you're doing it. You're an automatic pilot. But we do this a lot in the world. We confuse popularity with success, okay? And you can't do that. The difference between success is that self-awareness. You could, like you said, you could be egomaniacal and narcissistic. You could do all that. Great. That'll help push you through. Look at fucking Trump. Okay, is Trump self-aware? Okay, there's a very
not even a little
there
bit. There
lies the difference.
But he's shrewd. But he has a weird intelligence.
You know what I'm saying? He's not. But the difference. So popularity is not success. To put that in perspective, it's all just a gigantic choir. I mentioned this before. So you're a success in your little choir. You got everybody high-fiving you and yapping and commenting and all this bullshit, right? That little dot, this huge dot, you got thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of, who knows how many, all in the choir. You know what's bigger than that little choir you're in? That huge circle. And what is everyone outside of that circle saying? Fucking Kanye. Fucking, right? Kanye has no. Look, I'm selling out the arena. I'm not going to your fucking concert. I love your music, but I'm not going to your fucking. I don't got time to be dealing with your nonsense. I might go, but it's a different thing to someone who's standing in line to see the Kanye West concert. That's a choir. Most people are making fun of. Look at Kardashians. I keep bringing them up. You know, they're successful. I mean, they're popular, but are they successful? Are they wealthy? They're a national, international joke. You see, so in this movement, we often confuse the two, and so many people chase that popularity, and they lose something. They lose that respect from the larger circle. People like me going, I don't really like what you're saying. I don't really respect how you're doing it. And the key is that's the larger group, though. That smaller group isn't real. It's sort of like celebrity and Hollywood. You know, Robin Williams goes home at the end of the day and he's miserable and he's depressed, right? It's not a real thing.
Just a little update on the now. Just so you might not have, this is from Joe Rogan's podcast. Bobcat. I just wanted to clear up the Robin Williams thing, though. I think he was bipolar and suffered from depression. Bobcat Goldthwait was his good friend.
He's brilliant.
Well, he was his good friend, and it was a great episode. If you don't get a chance to see it, it's a really touching episode. But he said, he had a form of dementia, or he had a form of it might have been Parkinson's or dementia. But
I think it was
Parkinson's.
happening
at the end, his brain was not giving him correct information. So he was saying, things that just wasn't Robin Williams. So Bobcat believes that, his brain told him to kill himself, but it's something he never would have done if it wasn't for that. Because he said whenever he spoke to him on the phone, he would say things that were like, and he wouldn't go into detail because he, out of respect for his wife and his kids. But anyway, I just wanted, and so the most cool thing he said after that, he was just trying to explain to people why Robin had died, and it was really because of it was probably complications of mental illness with this other disease,
physical, degenerative, and
right. But he also said something interesting.
Medicare for all.
He said so Joe Rogan goes, so you seem happy, and he goes, I don't think happy's a thing. He goes, I think in life you should look to be fulfilled. He goes, I don't think you should try to be happy. Try to be fulfilled. That would be my advice to you. And I was like, whoa.
It's completely different. Yeah.
I was like, that's a really great way to look at it. I think sometimes too many people in life are looking for themselves to be happy. Don't look for yourself to be happy.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was, that's from Bobcat Goldthwait on a Robin Williams. But
he's
I saw it. I had no one to talk to about that. So you brought it up. I don't know where we were. I wanted to do something I wanted to bring up something that I don't know if you're going to, because this is really going to take us to dangerous territory, but it's just a bit. A lot of the times when I bring up shit, it's a bit that's half formulated. So here's something I'm going to say that's so
half-baked, like you in a couple of years.
Half-baked, and also it's like it's the worst territory to go because people are going to flip out on it.
Who cares? I don't care.
But, yeah, so here I go. So I feel like Trump allows us to see what it would be like in the time of Hitler. And I only say that because people are going to flip out. Because it's Gordon's principle. So like you bring up something, and I don't know if there's a principle about that, bring up Hitler or compare. There's some sort of philosophical argument, but you're not supposed to bring up Hitler with... There's actually
Hitler is a trigger word. It's safe to say,
there's
right?
a Gordon's law. Isn't there a Gordon's law or somebody's law about something? Anyway, I know there's a...
Gordon Ramsay, the famous chef?
I don't know. Anyway, so my point is you get to see Like, you're like, how did Hitler happen? Like, how is that possible? Like, how did they let that happen? And I'm like, oh, I totally get it. Because, like you said, there's infighting. And then there's people who love the fact that he's still making them money. And, like, so it's kind of fascinating to be able to sit here and go, oh, so this is how it all worked. It's all conflated. He's not exactly Hitler, but he's Hitler-esque. And how does he get away with it? How are people not marching in the streets? And, you know, if he called on, you know, tomorrow for, you know, certain, well, you know, he's had
it's not fascinating. It's fascinating.
Fascinating. Yeah. His slight attack on Muslims, but I'm just saying, oh wow, so we almost get to relive history in a lighter version, in a more less dangerous version. Oh, so this is how it occurred. Oh, we all infighted and no one really did anything, and there was no major marches after a while, and people faded away, and then he really took over. So I don't know what to believe on the news. But anyway, I don't know if we want to get. That's just a half-baked notion. I don't know where that premise is going, but it's fun. Well, it's fun to sort of watch and relive history and go, oh, okay, so now I get it. So now I know why no one put a stop to Hitler, and now I know put a stop to Trump, because everybody's infighting and people are making profits. And people are it's so complicated on why he continues to succeed.
Yeah, so, no, what you're talking about it's like you got to understand, most people learn history and just how to live through TV, right? Through TV, through their little inner circle. That's why I'm a racist. That's why I'm a neo-Nazi. You know what I mean? That's why I'm a wife beater, because I learned it from my little circle. And a lot of times, what people see and believe is from TV. Think about all these other countries, North Korea, South Korea, Guam, whatever. People act like everybody's just traveling to the United States and going, fuck this country, right? No. So where are they getting their images from? Media, newspapers, their local newspaper, their version of CNN. They're seeing this, and they're not getting little snippets of Kansas, and they're not seeing you going to the movies on Wednesday evenings. Okay, they're getting fucking, you know, New York, horrible, California, Texas, D.C., you know, violence. And you're not getting Wyoming. You're not getting Vermont. You're only getting what they see on their little channel in their country. So no one has any idea. I used to have friends from Ethiopia, and every time I was out with them, this is back in college, the nicest people would come up. Ignorant people, but the nicest people would come up and be stunned.
We should call them not informed. The word again, not informed people.
It's like the word critical, right? The critical, everybody, I don't want to be critical. Well, critical just meant, hey, I want to analyze. But people got so hypersensitive, they said, fuck this. Let's just come up with the word critique. So now when I'm critiquing something, it's now a little bit different than I'm being critical of something, right? Or I'm criticizing something. So words carry too much weight. You know what I mean? But these guys from Ethiopia, these men and women from Ethiopia, they would get people come up to them and ask them all the time, like, how did they escape from Ethiopia? What was it like living in the desert? What was it like? How did you survive? What happened for you to overcome starvation? I mean, these are like nice people. These weren't like these are just regular people. And I had to pull them, you know, they just played dumb and like, oh, everything's fine. And I had to pull them aside and go, hey, I know this is all you, I'm not judging. There's
other cities. There's other places in Ethiopia.
Right.
Besides the desert.
But this is all the shit, especially, you know, back then, this is all the shit you're seeing on TV. So, of course, but this family here is richer than your family. Why do you think they're fucking in the United States, you asshole, paying 3 times as much college tuition? Their fucking father's a diplomat, all right? So, but they didn't say it out of mean. That's what they thought. That's what they believe. Hey, black people suck. It's okay to beat my wife, right? So people learn all this sort of bullshit. And one of the things they learn is that Hitler is Darth Vader, right? So how did this happen? How did Darth Vader go around and just convince all these people to do these things? He probably was a little bit charming. He probably had a little bit of money. Probably know how to talk to the people. Sound like anybody we know, right? It's
But it's fascinating in this day and age because we have social media and we do have indie journalism and we do have ways to organize and we're still not doing it, and you can still be a Trump and survive. It's just like, wow, this is crazy shit, man. We have so many tools and we still can't stop this motherfucker. We're still so unarmed. Like, that's why I'm saying the progressive movement is kind of funny in the way they think that. Like they think that next election I really truly believe it's going to be Trump and Clinton again, and Clinton will probably win, and it won't be much of a progressive move. Now the progressive movement will never believe that, right? They're gonna no way they're gonna sell you on, and I'm like, you're fucking kidding yourself, man. Like, it's just not gonna happen, So that's the part that
I think it's more likely Trump would resign than Hillary run again.
Totally don't think he's gonna resign.
I don't think he is
be impeached.
I don't think he's gonna be impeached, but I think the Trump psychology is that if he is heading on a boat of failure, not in getting, because look, if I resign, I could be like, you got, they wouldn't let me win, they wouldn't let me make America greater. Right? I have so many outs, but if I go down on that boat over the waterfall and I actually fail, that is something Trump will never allow himself to do. So it's too early to say. But if he keeps getting blocked and everything else, he would resign, saying, "This is what winners do." You realize this, so I don't.
But I disagree. Here's where I think he's going, and Bannon pretty made it clear what his strategy is in coming out and sort of going against him. The guy that we got in office is no longer exists, or something. Like Bannon was sort of saying, the guy we got in office no longer exists. We're moving on to another stage. And in my mind, to me, that says Trump is actually being strategic. So now he's getting to get rid of all the guys that got him in office, and now he needs to get the guys who know what the fuck they're doing once you get in office. So we had Priebus in there, and he had Bannon in there, and he had fucking what's-his-face, Spicy in there, guys that had no clue of how to run a White House. So now he's resetting for the long game. So everybody in the media is telling you, everybody in the media is telling you, oh, he's going to impeach, he's going to resign. I'm telling you, he's playing the long game.
Yeah.
And here's what's coming next. So just so I like to get it down on video, so it's there for what's the word? Oh, I had this for posterity. Posterity. Is that the word?
Posterity.
Posterity.
But you're also thinking
you make fun of me. You make fun of me.
You're also thinking of prostigination or something like that.
No, I was thinking of posterior. I know, but I want to say the right word, posterity. I'm saying posterity. I hope that's the right word. Anyway, here's my prediction.
It would behoove you not to say the right word.
It's not a big prediction. But Jeff Sessions will be out as Attorney General, and Chris Christie will be our next Attorney General. Just so we have it on video and we have it on record, and he's playing the long game. He needs suck-ups. He needs people who do his bidding. Yeah. He needs people who
that's not a big prediction. Yeah, that's very feasible. Yeah.
He's putting the people in line that know what the fuck they're doing, that know how to run the ship and know how to run a White House in the way that he's getting rid of Priebus, he's getting rid of Bannon, getting rid of Spicy. That's old school.
We will see about Sessions. Yeah. No, I think that's very practical. Sessions out and then Christie in.
He needs more suck-ups. He needs more
Christie has so much baggage, though. I don't know if he
doesn't
would
matter.
Him.
He needs sycophants. He needs someone who can pick up the phone and do his bidding, make life miserable for his opponents.
He doesn't want someone to just do his bidding. He wants someone that can win and do his bidding. And I think Chris Christie and him are very similar. I think they're vindictive. But that's a little bit dangerous. That's a little bit of a problem.
I think they're childish. I think they're really willing to do shit that you're not.
But that's a little bit of a problem. The mooch was very similar to Trump, and that's the reason he got rid of him. Bannon took credit for sort of putting Trump into office. Trump didn't like that. That's why he got rid of him. So people who sort of take too much credit, he wants someone who kisses his ass a little bit, but also does his bidding, but also know what the fuck they're doing. And he doesn't want to be bogged down by Christie's political weight. So
I don't know what the story with the mooch was, but that's why they call him the mooch. I definitely don't have any take on the mooch. I don't know. I definitely don't have any.
Not to be confused with the Will Smith movie from the 90s, I believe, where he taught Kevin.
Was that the mooch?
That was a hooch. I believe.
The hooch. Come on, you're mixing your fucking movies with the mooch.
No,
the hooch.
just letters. Just an
you're drinking too much hooch. That's the problem. So anyway, I just want to put that on the record so that you know what. Oh, and we were supposed to do a Q&A. You wanted to do a get to know you. I don't know why you wanted to get to know you.
Getting to know. So who is Matt Stueck? What is Stueck? What kind of name is that?
That's German?
German? Okay, so you're like full German.
So we've killed and offended and murdered, and I'm German, white, American. My family's pretty much killed everybody, oppressed and killed everybody. So you want to talk about white guilt? Yeah, okay, maybe there's a little in there. Maybe you got something on me. Maybe I'm lying.
You should talk to Claudia.
No, I mean, I'm self-aware of my history of being white, American, and German. Yeah. So, we definitely.
You should give a little
Irish, a little Irish, a little English. So I got a little bit of oppression in there, but not enough to really whine about.
You're literally at war with yourself.
Every day.
Every day. You should call Claudia Staver, Cabin Talk.
I think I used to do a joke about that. I think I used to do a joke similar to what you just said.
Perhaps she is your sister.
Yeah, I think you probably do a better. Is that what, I believe that was a German accent you're doing. I think you probably do a better accent than I do.
I don't know.
But yeah, I think I had a bad joke at one time. You had to do the whole thing. I'm German and Irish, and so you never know. I'm constantly fighting myself every day, or I don't know who
we're on the same. Is, we're on the same.
Some sort of hack joke I had at some. We're point. On the same. Yes, page. I'm German, Irish, and English.
Okay. Yeah. All right. How has that sort of shaped your beliefs, your philosophies in any way, or it's just your name?
No. My parents were just very. My father was typical, sort of not a typical second or third generation German.
Okay.
Just very stoic as Stueck. He was a very stoic guy, very religious, very conservative. And my mom, Irish.
Matt Stueck.
Stueck. Stick. I think our name was Stick.
Right.
Or Stueck. It was Stueck. I'm sorry, you're right. It was right. It was the umlaut. Stueck. So my mother was Irish. My mother is Irish religious conservative. So two Republicans, diehard religious Republicans.
Now that's an interesting getting to know you angle there, because now were they what's the word?
Yes, I hated them.
No,
therapy.
I worked.
They fucked up my life. No, they made me who I. They made me who I was, and I think they tried to brainwash me, and I quickly around the baptismal. I think it was either one of the. I think through puberty is when I was really had a real big disconnect of I freaked out. I was whoa. It was like coming out of like a mirror. I don't know. It was like you woke up. It was like being woke at 13. You're like, whoa, they're lying about everything. Yeah. Oh my God.
See, this is why we get along.
Help me. Who can help me? Is there support groups? I needed Facebook back then. I'm all alone. I can't tell anybody. I'll be ostracized from my community. I won't be able to eat when I go home. I won't be able to use the car and get laid. Well, I can't say a word. I've got to go along with this game and run this side. I got to run my side game. My side hustle at the same time.
See, we had the same background, and that's why that's that simpatico, that unspoken simpatico. Same sort of thing. Because I went to a Christian school. My whole point about this is, I've noticed this. I think this explains the progressive movement. I really think this is. I'm sort of onto something here, but I haven't researched it. But I think this is the dichotomy, what's going on between progressives that are born and progressives that are made. Okay, because when you look at this is talking about offending everybody. When you look at the neo-Nazis and the wife beaters that I brought up, and the racists and all these different people that we've talked about, the Kanye West. These people were for whatever reason trained, and maybe they have mental illness, and sort of it allowed them to be trained in a certain way, but they were all sort of trained in these ways. That's much different from, you look at these little kids on social media and these talent shows, and they're just, to me, I'm like, what the fuck is this? They're like little adults. And I'm going, it seems something's wrong there. They're talking like adults, moving like, I'm like, this. Go play. Go pick up a leaf and just throw it. But they're like savvy, and they're I don't know if they're evolved or super smart or whatever, or they're just robots. I saw this one little robot preacher kid, right? And he's like, I feel the spirit. And he's saying all these things. And I'm like, where did this come from? Well, his father's a preacher. So he's just saying these things. And so they were asked, what is this? What does it mean what you're saying? And he's like,
right? Well, it's funny. So I would say that, again, with the example you're bringing up, my parents were the opposite. Their parents were very oppressive. My mother was very oppressive for the first 12 years. I was probably that kid. I didn't know what was going on. I was being brainwashed. I was all aboard.
But why? How could you break out of that? See,
how did I break out?
That's impossible.
Probably hormones was what drove me out.
No,
I mean, I was not. There was no other temptation. I was just like, oh, we do this and we do this and we're supposed to do. I was being taught, and then all of a sudden my body said, no, I want to do that. See that chick over there? I want to do that, and I want to drink that, and I want to stay out late, and I want to watch TV. And I started to watch Monty Python, and I started to watch Benny Hill, and I saw other people. These other voices came in my head, and I was like, no, I want to do everything that. I want to do Monty. I saw Monty Python. I was like, oh my God, this is. Yeah. You're allowed to put that on TV. Benny Hill, I was like, this is on TV? Does anybody else know about this? Like, I needed to have a Facebook. I didn't talk about Benny Hill with other people. I didn't talk about Monty Python at that age. I just was like quiet. I thought it was like my little thing at late night. I was like, oh, here's my salvation. TV was my salvation, just like on Freaks and Geeks. You talk about TV. TV, I would change the channels. This is what I wanted to do. Right. I wanted nothing to do with my family. And then I had to figure out a way to. And my parents at that point started to be a lot more hands off. My mother had a kid at 16. I was 16. She had another kid, and I was pretty much able to run wild. Though they did keep me at home for college for 2 years, but they laid off. Big mistake on their part, and I just pretty much ran wild intellectually.
Yeah.
And I'm still a slow learner. Was not a fast or good learner. Sorry, I did a southern accent, but I did not learn.
I don't know nothing about no learning and stuff.
I want to learn more. I wish I could learn more. See, I'm always trying to learn.
You're not giving yourself enough credit. You can stop drinking for 7 years, whatever. All these different things. The difference between you, what allowed you to break away from that, was that key superhuman trait, self-awareness. Okay, because what's that? Westboro.
Yeah, I think internally I was self-aware. I mean, I always knew what I was doing, even when I was being a phony. When I was like, I definitely had. When I was in like, so I look like Clint Eastwood, and I got a little bit of that. I know that's narcissistic, but I was always tough looking, and I hid behind that. I was a scared kid. I always wanted to fight. My dad was a scary guy. I was ready to fight at all times. I put that up as a front. I was probably a scared kid. I would have fought you, but I was very fearful. Didn't let anybody know it. Probably very sensitive. If you picked on me, I probably would have cried. Again, I put up a big front. I would fight you first.
Neo-Nazi guy, yeah.
So, but I was very self-aware of who I was inside and what I had to do to survive. And then as I got older, I realized, okay, if I told the truth, that might be funny. And that's where a sense of humor came from. I was like, okay, the more you're truthful, the more people sort of respect that, and the more people laugh. So that's where comedy came from. But I can't. It's funny, I can't pinpoint it. You're trying to pinpoint it, but I wouldn't be able to tell you.
No, but I
wouldn't be able to pinpoint it.
I think it's sort of a universal thing. I think self-awareness is what defines the differences. Like in what is it, the Mormons or the Quakers? No, it's the Quakers and the Amish. I think it's the Amish, whatever. When they become 16 or something, I don't know what the age is, they're allowed to just abandon everything. Right? I don't know what they call that, but I think at 16, they're allowed to go travel and drink and run around, have sex, whatever, for a predetermined amount of time. I don't know if it's a month or a couple of months. This is in their tradition. And then they get to decide if they want to return to that religion or if they want to abandon it. And they do this for, as I understand it, every Amish person who reaches 16. To me, that's amazing, because if everybody had that sort of thing in like, Scientology, whatever, they get to experience what they're missing without guilt, without any kind of negative, and they go, I want to choose this life or I want to go against it. Amazing. But that's not what happens. Neo-Nazis are 3 and then 6 and 9, and then they learn that and they become neo-Nazis. The people at the Westboro Baptist Church, you see, what are they, 8? Okay, I mean, I have no anger for this 8-year-old who's running around going, God hates fags. Because I'm like, this whoever taught this kid's a robot. He's a complete robot, has no idea what the fuck he's doing. And then guess what? That 32-year-old, probably the same fucking shit. So it's the same sort of legacy of just learning nonsense and then carrying it forward. But what separates someone like you? I was saying people are born or made. I think the progressive movement has people who were trained to be progressive. Great. Again, this is what I was saying about Republicans and Democrats. Some people are just on the right side of history, but they didn't choose to be on the right side of history. They just are. You look at these these young kids nowadays. They got black friends, Mexicans, women, gay friends. I mean, they look at us like we're nuts. I always say this. They look at older people like, huh? Because they don't have any clue. Because since they were kids, they were surrounded by people of different everything. Just the norm, right? So these kids they're born, right? They're born going, I'm progressive. These other people are made because their mother and their father are progressive, and they're like, blah 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 blah. Guess what we do on the right side? On the alt-right, they say the same exact thing. They train them to believe whatever. So we're creating this nation of robots, and we're fighting. We don't understand we're fighting based on not even real ideology, just trained, brainwashed bullshit. But what about the people like you and me, who we were raised in conservative environments? You know, a lot of black people, extremely conservative, extremely whatever. Which surprises me because they're all Democrats. There's a disconnect there. Their views, a lot of them are anti-gay, extremely religious, whatever. Yet they vote Democrat. That's what I'm saying. There's these labels and these choices that people make in life that don't even match what they think they believe, right? To me, a lot of black Democrats, a lot of Democrats, they're really conservatives. They don't like to be. All the black preachers, they're like, we support Trump. I'm like, of course. Your whole foundation is essentially a conservative talking point. Anti-gay this, anti-that. So there's all these different layers, but there's something weird about people like you, and I think it's self-awareness that goes, I've been brainwashed, and yet something tells me to reject this. A lot of people, perhaps even the average person, they don't have that, and they just become whatever they're trained. And that transcends to online, because you got progressives fighting with other progressives, and it's almost a war between those who are self-aware and those who aren't. Those who are just rolled up and made a progressive, and those who just feel progressive, those who chose to be progressive. And that's something I think worth exploring, because we're all on the same right side of history, and yet why the division?
Well, I see I think the one thing, and I'm very aware of what I'm about to say can be narcissistic and egotistical. But I know that I'm self-aware, and I think that's the biggest problem of existing on the planet. Is like when I look around the world, look at celebrity, look at people, most people are not self-aware that it is.
My point exactly.
It's disturbing.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that's across the board. I don't want to blame it on any. I don't want to point fingers at anybody. I think across the board, lack of being self-aware, lack of being honest. And I told you, before we said we were going to come back and do the show again, I said the biggest problem I have with doing the show is, and I wanted to be able to do an hour offline so I could tell you what's going on in my life, where's my head at before we do the show.
Yeah.
So you can if you pick up something weird, like what, why is he not that you pick it up because we're not best of friends, but I'm saying you might pick up either he's not in the mood for this, or he's being weird today. But the first hour of me and you talking shit of what happened today. Okay, let's go into it. Then you're like, oh, here's things I don't want to talk about that happened today. That if I touch upon, don't jump in there. I'm just gonna take them a little bit in, not fully reveal why I am the way I am, and then go on. But I just feel like there's none of that in broadcasting, and I think it's a difficult thing to do, to reveal yourself. Like, and you do your fucking mocking Howard Stern thing, but at the time he was like the only guy that was sort of being real in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I respected that.
I love his
no
template.
matter what you think about Howard Stern, as you always do the Howard Stern laugh thing. I want to choke you and punch you. And you do it. You definitely, I hate that because you take me off my page. Because everybody, whenever I wanted to do this, everybody was always like, "You just want to be Howard Stern." I'm just like, no, I just respect what he did. Me too. Being a real broadcast. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He was just being as real as he possibly safely could be. But he also
doing it, it's like a tip of the hat because it's.
I know, but I want to kill you. I want to kill you every time you do it. Yeah. Just so you know, it gets you definitely found you quickly found my spot.
I say like, completely out of love. It's completely out of love.
But again, I just feel like in the world, in this world, and particularly a world of celebrity and broadcasting, I just appreciate people that are self-aware and come across as real, and that's what that's my what do they call it?
Je ne sais quoi.
What does that mean?
It means this. Yeah.
No, I know it's what you can win me by. It's how I'm won over. It's what I trade in. So if I can sense it from you, it means the world to me.
Yeah,
it's the currency. So this is why I talk to him and go, that guy's really being real. This is why we
fell in love with Bernie. Everybody, even the people who are hypocritical.
And why I fell in love with you. And why I fell in love with you. It's why I fell in love with you the first time I met you, and we talked. We knew right away. Right. That the conversation that we were involved with was not what we wanted to be in.
A lot of bullshit.
And then as soon as we got off, and we were like, oh man, and then we were like, oh man, I'm like, we're in trouble here. And you're like, yeah, but let's just go along with this. And I'm like, doesn't feel right, man. Doesn't feel right. I was like, but I want to broadcast, so
yeah.
But we quickly we immediately, and I don't like I said, in life I just don't have those moments. Like I said, I fell in love with Ted Alexandro, a couple of comics I stalked a couple of comics. But I just don't feel that, like you said, being authentic. And that's why, you people can trash Bernie as much as they want, but if I don't feel, them being authentic, then they sort of lose me. You can say whatever you want. I don't mind your opinions, but just be authentic. Don't be over dramatic. Don't be over mean.
Right.
And I also just respect humor over drama and, what would you call it? They call it,
don't get me wrong.
Gaslighting. But that's I know that's an overused term, but it's the only term I can use when you're just using.
I don't even know what it means anymore.
But it's your Facebook lighting. You know what I'm saying? You're just trying to get clicks or likes.
I know. And just when people say it, I'm like, we've used these words, neoliberalism and gaslighting, and these words so many times. I'm like, I don't even know what this means anymore. It really, I don't. But
anyway, we were on Q&A.
I don't mind drama, though. I don't even mind melodrama if it's real. That's the thing. Authenticity is different from. It's just if you're real. If someone comes out and they're bawling on screen, and it's fake, or it's just I'm like, oh, so it's not the crying, it's the fact that it's fake. But if someone's authentic and they're crying and it's authentic, I'm like, this is the best Disney animated movie ever, right? So it just has to be authentic, and that's what you talked about. So drama's okay, even melodrama's okay, passion's okay, rage is okay, but if it's sticky, you know what I mean? I'm like, I will literally start watching.
It also has to be fun. It also has to be funny to me, and it also has to be a different take. It has
when people are crying, it's hilarious to me.
Can't be repetitive. Can't be overly dramatic over and over again. It's got to be a new take. It's got to be funny. There's got to be a range of emotions there. But I really respect funny, and I'm easily bored, man. That's the other thing. Like,
everybody.
The ability for us to talk this long is just like that's fascinating to me because I get bored very easily. So, but I have so much shit in my head that has to get out.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I just saw a thing where they finally another company came out with a live streaming necklace. Cost $400. But I mean, like, I've always wanted to live stream my life. I've always wanted to document my life. I've always wanted to keep all my thoughts together. So this is another place just for like a dump, all this shit has to come out of my head.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to.
I really haven't heard anything after you said live streaming necklace.
Oh, I'm sorry. So there's a live streaming necklace.
I'm kidding, but what? I mean, that's a real product.
There's a live streaming necklace that they've been trying to do for a while. It's $400, and you put it on and it will live stream for 2 hours. So I don't know if you could set it up. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
I guess it's just hands-free, and you could just walk around and live your life and still live stream, so you're not encumbered, and you can still talk. And I just find that fascinating because that's something that would interest me. I've always wanted to do constant broadcasting and still just go on with my life. And if people wanted to tune in and then have comments, because, again, with comedy...
The Snapchat device, they have something like that. What is that?
Yeah, but the reason, again, I want to do live streaming is like why we're not people aren't being interactive. I love when people come in and give you another idea or give you something else to think of or take you in a different direction or add something to the mix. And that's the other thing about comedy writing and comedy writing and writing in general is very lonely, and you never know what you're saying is funny or not until you bring it to a larger audience and you test it out. It's so much better when you have a group of people. I've always wanted to be. That's the other thing that we're still in the Q&A. I've always wanted to be more in a group place where we're trying to be funny, we're all on the same page, and we all sort of get it. And who knows how long that lasts and how long that chemistry and how long. I mean, just even getting us to do this broadcast took fucking forever. So I mean, it's just so again, it goes back to my respect to all the broadcasters out there. Even harder when you try to put a team together. That's another part of the movement. That's even it's
even
terrible
Aerosmith
that they're
broke up.
Everybody's broke. Everybody goes to those. It's really hard to keep your shit together. So that's the other part with the movement. I totally understand all of it and why it breaks up and why it falls apart and why it comes together. And that's again you want to go back to Bernie Sanders. People don't understand the power and why that was so. We probably is a good chance that me and you are never going to see that again if he doesn't run again. There's a good chance that we will never see that again in our lifetime. That's crazy.
Yeah. We took this template he created. I mean,
there's never going to be another Bernie Sanders. There's never going to be someone that pure. Someone to build that legacy. It's going to take another 40 years. Me and you, we're going to be dead, friend. So
it's amazing. To me, it really is amazing. And when you talk about, I know how people are. Okay, I'm self-aware to how other people are. Just me mentioning Bernie, it's like, oh, we got another fucking Bernie groupie, and I'm so not that. Right? I respected him then. I still respected him. He hasn't done anything that has garnered any disrespect. I'm real. I analyze. I critique things. I see things as they really are.
I like when someone says that or does that because then I know not to spin the other direction. You know what I'm saying? If someone comes at me that way, then I'm kind of like, okay, cool. I'm glad you told me you feel that way. Now I can move on to the next person because I'm
know
still
from
all
which
about,
you come.
People are always like, oh, you're creating an echo chamber. I'm just trying to organize, man. You don't realize how unorganized we are as a movement until you start really doing the grunt work and trying to get involved, and it becomes more of a job than your job, and you're like, wow, I don't know if I can do this because it's way too time consuming, and you have to really be this pit bull of progressiveness, and I just don't have that in me. I'm not Bernie Sanders, man, and I can't deal with all this bullshit. So when people say, oh, you're this, you're that, I'm like, oh, that's cool. That saves me a lot of fucking time.
Yeah.
So I like it. If someone wants to be that upfront with their opinion and wants to shut it down like that, no, that saves me a lot of time. I have no problem with it.
It's like I remember I brought something in.
You're more in the middle of it. Like I said, I'm out. You're in. You're still in. I'm out. I'm not in anymore. I'm not in at all. I don't go to meetings. I don't participate on Facebook. I don't do live streams. I don't really watch it. I've been out. I've been out. I mean, life gets in the way too. But I just got disenchanted with so much, and I'm waiting for Truth Against the Machine to fire me. I love what they do, but I got disenchanted by the noise, right? And like I said, I mean, I was waiting for them to go, "You're fired." I would still be sharing their content because I love the concept of them doing these local stories that no one cares about. I'm like, that's authentic because they're not chasing views; they're chasing stories. So total. But the business side of that, I'm like, you haven't contributed. You got to get the fuck out of here. Okay, but my whole thing is, I'm not chasing money. I'm not there to get paid or anything. I'm there to be authentic and to follow through with stories. I don't want to report on snippets and then leave them hanging. And then next week, hey, I got 3 more stories to get in. No, I want to cover this. I want to uncover this shit and really get that story. I don't know what the fuck's going on. So I want to research it and learn it and investigate it. That's not a deadline type of thing. So
it's almost
that's really cool what they're doing though. That's really cool. I mean, I'm really impressed with that. If that's what they're, I think that's a worthy endeavor. I wish maybe I was more involved, but I just don't have the time. I mean, and I just don't have the skill set for all that. And like I said, I come to you because you have a skill set that I don't possess.
As do you, brother.
Well, but I think again, as we do more broadcasts, if that does happen, I think we will get better. Because I will tell you what you do that fucking annoys me, like when you do the Howard Stern thing, I just want to punch you in the face. Because we're not doing Howard Stern, you mother. We're doing. I don't know what we're doing. We're trying to. I do like the openness of his show, and I do like the fact that you're open to all discussions because it will get. I will get weary of just talking about progressiveness. It gets weary because there's other shit that goes on in life that's funny and.
But everything's progressive. Like I said before, everything you talk about is going to be filtered through progressive lens.
Well, I have other viewpoints that are not, like I said.
But even still, I mean, I'm not saying the progressive. Hey, I must follow the. But you have a progressive view, even if it counters. So many of my views are counter to traditional progressive views, like even vegan, or whatever. So I mean, is that progressive or not? Like I join these vegan groups, and I'm like, these people are fucking nuts. I go into Green Party. These people are fucking nuts. I go into Black Lives Matter. These people are fucking nuts. Progressive, fucking nuts. So it's not the group that defines my opinion. And for a lot of people, the group. But
you take it so much better than me because when I go in there and I find that, I literally get depressed. I literally get sad. No, I literally lose my momentum.
I'm more cynical.
You don't. I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's why you're more important than me. I need. No. You're my yin to my yang or whatever that is because it's hard for me to keep moving on and it's hard for me to focus. I like to have I am one of those people who try to find distraction because life is just so harsh to me that if I don't find distraction, it's going to take me down, man. It's going to take me down. It's going to be too much. Yeah. Because I can't even imagine what it's like to be a vegan and to carry that weight and to really live that life and to have that much compassion and empathy because I have maybe half as you do, and it stalls me all the time. Just like videos on Facebook, seeing people how they treat their animals, knowing how animals are being treated, like it stops me in my tracks. And you're actually living that life, and you actually every meal is like a tribute.
But everyone starts like that. The difference between you is the self-awareness. Okay, that's how everybody ends. That's how everybody who becomes vegan ends up.
Again, you always say, "Oh yeah, you're great, you're self-aware," but you're already past me, so you're already like master.
It's not.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still the student. You're already there, man.
You totally got that wrong. Once you're a Jedi, you're a Jedi. You're not like you're just an old ass fucking Samuel Jackson Jedi, versus Daisy, whatever her name is in the new Star Wars, right? You're a Jedi. There are Jedi, and then there are non-Jedi. You said it yourself. I believe most people just aren't self-aware. You're saying the same things I am. You're just not tuned into that energy. So when I present veganism to other people, they don't have your reaction of, "Oh yeah, I just, this is horrible." They're like, "You know what? I really have allergies and my kids suffer from a rare skin disease and I have to do this." So it becomes that attack feeling and excuses rather than going, "Look, I'm not there." Right? I think it's horrible.
Or taking responsibility.
Right. Your reaction is not the typical reaction. It's the defensive one, like I'm accusing. So that there's a certain difference there. That's and you possess that. I tell people it's like 20% of the population is self-aware. That's a really narcissistic.
I think that's high.
And everybody, I think it's lower. Everybody, and that's my point. I tricked you. Everybody who is self-aware says the exact same thing to me. I think that number is high. So what are you telling me? You're telling me that people aren't self-aware. They don't have this energy.
But the gift of self-awareness doesn't really help you. It just makes you suffer. It just makes you fucking.
It should give you the knowledge.
Makes you sound like a martyr if we talk like when we talk like this. People are like, "Oh, these two douchebags."
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because if here's the thing, if you were in the time of Rosa Parks, for example, right, and she got up and she sat in the front of the bus. Okay, you're one of these people who's going to go, yeah, that's about right. Okay, other people might go looking around, what the fuck is she doing? I have an allergy, I can't do this. Whatever. It becomes an excuse thing. Something's wrong. That self-awareness is gold, but if you have already articulated without being comfortable in articulating that most people aren't self-aware, and I already went through this whole rant about, I think that's the problem. Some people are brainwashed. They don't have the self-awareness to break away from that. How else would you explain Scientology? But so you go into these groups, and what did you say? I go into these groups, and gosh, I'm using my words. Vegans are fucking nuts. The blacks are fucking nuts. The progressives are fucking nuts. The people on the right are fucking nuts. Right, you're saying most people, because it has nothing to do with their titles. It has nothing to do with their group. It's the fact that most people aren't self-aware and they aren't self-critical. They don't have that critical thought to break away. So when you go, the difference between you and I is not the self-awareness or the level of Jedi. When you go in, you're going, I'm surprised. I'm saddened and I'm depressed from what I already know was going to be there. I go in and go, yep. I went to a fucking vegan group. These are supposed to be my fucking people. We're supposed to be elevated, progressive, and you guys are fucking nuts. You're a Scientologist and a fucking vegan? You're a racist vegan? You're all fucking nuts, all right? So it's these labels that we attack, and I'm a doctor. Okay, yeah, I get it, Ben.
Well, you know what's great though? You're saving me a lot of time from going to any vegan meeting, because I'm going to swear it off now, because you're just telling me, Matt, wherever you go, it's not, and that's what, and I hate to go full circle because people are going to hate hearing this if you upload this.
All people are people. That's the problem.
No, but that's why when I got inside the Bernie Sanders movement, I never felt that way. Anybody who's truly a Bernie believer, I had no issues of that. That was what was the amazing part of it. And again, I shouldn't say amazing. Louis C.K. said, don't say amazing. But that was what really drew me in and kept astonishing me was, wow, what another person, just like me. Because for so many years I had felt so alone. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, all these people just like me.
That's it.
And I'm so happy about.
That was universal. Yeah. That's how we all felt.
About humans again. I like humans again.
Absolutely.
Like people, wow, humans are good.
Matt, you've touched on something that is, I say this so many times, that it really, I think it was probably one of the most underrepresented or underreported aspect of the Bernie Revolution. We talked about the peace and love and everything else, but it really was a lightning bolt of hope, because people were like, I'm not alone. I'm not talking about, I'm depressed and lonely. A lot of us were, but it's the fact that you're like, oh my gosh, another one? There's a fucking another one? People going to Philadelphia and everything, because you're going, everybody's fucking nuts. And then you go, what? And so after the endorsement of Hillary and all this stuff, people went to Philly as much for themselves as much for the movement. So they were like, it can't be over. This feeling of togetherness and inclusiveness and empowerment and meeting a mass amount of people that I didn't know existed, because there are all these, if 20% of the population, which you say, and everyone I say this to says is too damn high, you have to migrate from all parts of the country and all parts of the world. Okay? Because that means you're constantly surrounded by people who don't know what the fuck's going on. So this migration was it was like the UFO mountain in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. People were able to come together and go, I know where all the aliens are. And you're an alien, I'm an alien. And it was a beautiful thing. And that's all that mattered. After the election, after that whole process, everything else started to matter. Because it wasn't enough just to be vegan. You couldn't be a fucking racist vegan. Like half of them are in there. You can't be fucking I hate baby vegan. You can't be, it was all these different other aspects, point 2, point 3, progressive 4.0, that you started to dig in and find out the reality and totality of these people. That defining thing that brought us together to this point was the starting point, and then what grew from that was like, what the fuck? You guys are all over the map now. But that's good and that's normal, because what you're doing now is going out of this group that migrated. I'm identifying which one of you are part of this 20%. Which one are you advancing? Which ones of you aren't saying, fuck Bernie, he's a fucking sell? I mean, just all rabid, all right? So that settling of the sand is horrible and painful and dark, but it's awesome because you're getting rid of the riffraff. You're getting rid of the alt-left. You're getting rid of the alt-right. You're finding not people in the middle and the wishy-washy, but you're finding the pure people who not only supported Bernie back then, now that Bernie's becomes this other thing, you still support the ideals of Medicare for all and reasonable thinking and discussion and critical thought and all these other things. So the settling of the sand is painful, but it's necessary, and it's awesome because we're seeing who the fuck is real and not just fucking choir noisemakers.
But the only thing I would say about that is, when this was going down and I was doing a podcast with someone who I met on Facebook and, like I said, met some really cool people on Facebook and got involved, whatever. Met great people across the board, like you said. But what my prediction was, as we were heading towards the end of this, and she said, so what do you think? I said, well, I hope Trump wins because then the revolution continues. If Hillary gets in, our side gets stamped down, it all gets watered down, we'll be completely dismantled. Trump gets in, there's a chance. I didn't say a chance. I totally believed that our movement would grow leaps and bounds and we'd be strong. And you know what, man? Didn't happen. Trump's in there, and my belief is it didn't happen. What should be happening is, and it basically they're still taking over the movement. Democrats are taking over the celebrities and everybody. They're gonna push towards Hillary. It's gonna be the Hillary. We got to get Hillary in there, and it's gonna be they're gonna galvanize around her. And it was our chance to really get out there and keep this movement going because of Trump. And I thought he would be the better guy to keep the movement going. And I don't think it mattered either way. I think we had our shot, and I hate to end it on this note because we're getting close. 15 minutes. I probably have to get off in like 15 minutes.
10.
10 is better. 10 is even better.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know if you were saying 10 o'clock or 10 minutes.
No, 10 minutes. Yeah.
All right. So so that's
same thing.
That's why. But again, that's why I was hoping for more backlash. I mean, like he's definitely. He's driving. He's making things happen that people should get involved in. You're hoping the movement grows, but I haven't seen it. I haven't felt it in any regard, in any form. So
yeah,
it's worrisome.
We're reacting to the movement. We're reacting to the movement, but we're not reacting in the proper way. And Trump, you got to understand to pick up what you're saying. Trump did his part. We voted and everything else. Trump got elected. Our chess pieces that a lot of people disagreed with us playing, the role us, which is not voting for Hillary Clinton and sort of enabling Trump to get elected. We played that piece perfectly. Trump played his part perfectly because he went full Trump, right? People rallying against Trump, missing the point. Don't yell at Trump for doing exactly what we hoped he would do for the revolution. The failure wasn't in our execution of our vote. The failure isn't in Trump being the Trump that we wanted him to be. The failure was in us not reacting to the chess piece that we put there, right? It's people are acting like, oh, we did this, Trump got elected, and now look how he's acting. We wanted him, but he's not. Oh, no, he's doing exactly what we wanted, because if we got Hillary in there, it would have been just crickets and all this shit going on behind the scenes, the same shit that Trump's doing, but sort of crickety, right? Trump is like, in your face, I'm banning Muslims. Okay, all right, there it is. That's exactly what we wanted to see. Now, everybody, don't you see? The system's fucked. Let's get the gut. Wait, where are you going? I'm going over here to the Nazi rally. Oh, okay. Where are you going? Fucking no, I'm over here. Fuck you. And hey, racist, white privilege. Okay, so we failed. Progressive 2.0 We failed, and we still don't understand. We're the ones who fucked up. Okay? Trump is playing his part. We did our part, and now we're not doing ours in
But worse
the
than
post.
that is we don't take responsibility in the failure. We continue to point the fingers, like you said.
Yeah.
And that's where self-awareness comes from. So, I'm part of the problem. I'll take responsibility. I dropped out, so I'm part of the problem. I don't know how. I'm trying to get back in as we're trying to do this broadcast. I don't know what the answer is. I would say to you, my prediction is, you don't believe this, but I believe Trump Clinton again in 2020, and I believe Trump will probably win again. Even though people think it'll be galvanized, I think he'll do enough to swing independents. The anger vote will still win out, and they will fuck us again. They will.
Oh yeah.
They won't throw us. They won't throw progressives a bone. It'll be, like you said, it'll be Trump 2.0, and he will win again, unless.
Well,
Bernie creates a miracle. Like I said, if Bernie starts to town hall it and they actually offer him a true olive branch, and really, but they'll never do it. I mean, that's stupid to say. They'll never do it. So I think I hope that doesn't happen, but I would think a Clinton, it's going to be close. It'll be
very possible. Again. I mean, with the rise of Trump, it's impossible to predict, like what happened with the last election. And I sort of see Hillary moving on if she knows what's best for her. But you make a good point.
There's no way. There's no way. That woman is so driven to be president.
She's so driven, but I think she's so driven not to lose 3 times in a row. And I know,
but the mechanisms are all in place, and that's all she does.
Here's the thing.
She don't want to hang out with Bill.
With Trump possibly winning, a lot of people are going to say there's no way he can win because everybody hates Trump, all right?
There's other variables, though. There also could be an independent could jump in there, a Bloomberg or
right. It's too soon to
Cuban
it's too soon to
speculate,
say. But we can still comment on the foundation of these arguments, and they're really weak arguments. Your point is on point, but people who are saying like Trump couldn't win because first of all everybody hates him, they say that as if people liked Trump before. That makes no sense. Everybody hated Trump. Everybody was like he's going to lose, right? Right? Hillary's going to win, and he won. So to come back and say the same thing, oh, he's not going to win, it's like you just have amnesia. The second aspect is the rage of voting. People mistake this. People miss this point. The rage of voting was not anti-Trump. Okay? Progressives far and above were like, I refuse to put this fucking Hillary in there for 2 reasons. One, because she's a fraud. She's a fake. She's a neoliberal, all this nonsense. But also, if she got in, then, like we said before, she would be doing all of this sort of nefarious neoliberal nonsense with the full support of the establishment, of establishment media. Everybody would be sort of on board. Everybody would go silent. Revolution would die, and the same old crickets, and here we go with Hillary not doing shit for anybody, with Trump there, in your face saying I'm not doing shit for anybody, right? Will not do shit for anybody. People are like, look at this guy, I can hear him. Well, we wanted you to hear him because you would not have heard Hillary. So for those 2 reasons, we were making sure Hillary didn't get elected. We weren't racing to get Trump not elected. We were like, we don't think he's even going to win. Right? We think Hillary's going to win. It was a Hillary passion to go out there and vote for Bernie. And Bernie gave us something to vote for. And then we couldn't vote for Bernie, so a lot of people voted for Jill. So with all of that gone, with Hillary, I know you think Hillary's possibly going to be in the picture, but with these people out of the picture and Trump's in the picture, there is no rage that'd be like, I'm going to vote, make sure Trump doesn't win. That wasn't there before. That's not a reaction that, I'm not speaking for me, but I'm speaking for the movement. That's a reaction that not a lot of progressives are going to have. They're not going to, they didn't have an anti-Trump thing. They weren't pro-Trump, but they didn't have an anti-Trump rap then. They're not going to have it now. What they're most likely going to have is a fuck this. All right, you guys fuck Bernie over. I'm depressed. I'm done. I'm over it. I'm done with politics. I'm done with the system. You know, you guys go vote. They're not impassioned to vote for someone because they couldn't vote for Bernie, and they don't care anymore. They become like, I'm done. So a lot of people are going to vote, but a lot of the progressives, which fueled so much of this momentum and energy and created the dialogue, I think they've become completely anti-establishment in terms of, I don't want anything to do with this. I want the whole thing now to fall. I wanted Hillary to lose so we could get this system addressed. You guys didn't respond, so now I want the entire system to fall. To me, that sounds like a very reasonable progressive response, because the progressives aren't being entirely reasonable right now. So I'll give you the last word, Mr. Matt.
Yeah, again, you have a better your fingers on the pulse of progressive. I don't know what's going on. I just wanted to make a couple of things clear. I thought Trump was going to win, just for the record, and that was based on momentum, and that was something we talked about again on the podcast. Well, I just knew I knew his momentum was real, and she had no momentum. So I was like, I don't know how. I saw Bernie's momentum. I saw that was real.
And I
saw Trump's momentum. It wasn't fake. It was all real.
They fucked Bernie by just It was the battle of the superheroes. They should have had Bernie in there.
So I don't know what's going on moving forward. My last word would be, I hope this isn't our last broadcast. Like I said, why are we doing this broadcast? I'm going to say up front, it feels silly. It feels necessary. You hope that more people are inspired to do broadcasts, to have a dialogue. Hopefully I feel like somebody has like trademark. You just hope that we can bring. I feel like I'm going to end with what's her face's trying to bring some sanity to. I just hope that people can have real conversations and be a little more humorous about this, because this is really, it's tough times. So if we can be funny and have new strategies and help people get through what I think is a tough Trump era, that's what, because I just don't think people are being funny and attacking Trump, and it's great. But it's such that moderate Democrat style attack on Trump. It has nothing to do with progressiveness. It's almost like, oops, we fucked up, and now here we are to make fun of Trump. No, you fucking caused this, and now you get to make fun of it, make more money on it, and get better ratings. But really, you caused Trump to go into office. So, I just don't feel like, maybe there's a John Oliver out there. I just don't feel like there's many places to go where people can have fun and maybe laugh and have two people tell the truth and be honest as they can without losing their marriage, their job, everything that they hold dear. So that's the key to the broadcast. Trying to be fun, trying to be as honest as we can. I just don't think a lot of people do it. And no offense to anybody else out there. I just think it's a tough thing to do. People don't want to show their ass, but I'm more than willing to come on here, show my ass, and tell you guys what I'm thinking about all topics. I like talking about everything. I really, really, really love talking about everything.
Everything. I know this is the 8th time I've said
so I'm saying to you, definitely bring your Q&A. Definitely bring your topics of the day. I'll tell you I'll be honest with you and tell you what what's on my mind. And I love this first broadcast. I think that's the way I wanted this to be. Even more open format. Anywhere I want to go, anywhere I want us to go, anywhere we want. And then was this quality? Can you edit something out of this? I think it's interesting to upload this and see what fucking people say. I wouldn't
upload it like this, but I would definitely break it down.
All right, do it, buddy. That's a lot of work, but
I could probably break it down by maybe pieces and themes and
just label it and shit.
Right, because we were all over the place, but we were.
My wife is calling me. I have to end the broadcast.
All right,
I'm out.
3 hours.
Yes, sir.
All right, signing out.